Good evening, and welcome to the April 29th work session of the Bexar County Board of Education. It's great to see you all here tonight. I know you're feeling a little bit excited and a little bit tired, but we're almost there. This time when we're meeting next month, we will have just graduated about 1,000 students, and that's what it is all about. At this time, I'll turn it over to our superintendent's report.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, board members. We have got a lot to celebrate as we close out the school year, so I just want to start by highlighting a few things that we have been celebrating this week. First off, Valerie Lancaster, math teacher at Appalachia High School, was named the Fox 5 High Five Teachers winner. So I want to thank our school community as well as our community at large for supporting her in that bid. We also have Winder-Barrow and Appalachia baseball teams qualified for the playoffs, along with the BASA girls and boys soccer teams. FFA at all three of our high schools enjoyed awards and recognitions at the state convention last week. BASA student Caitlin Larson traveled to the World Championship for Robotics. She is one of only 3 Dean's List First Tech Challenge finalists in Georgia, and has also been selected to serve as the first championship student ambassador. We had our Winder-Barrow High School esports team also qualify for the state playoffs. Several of us had the chance to travel around the district to recognize our District Teacher of the Year finalist, Melissa Johnson from Holsenbeck, Brooke Turner-Houlihan from Appalachia, Caroline Beaver from BASA, and Ashley Gibson from Russell. Congratulations to those 4 finalists and all of our Teachers of the Year throughout the system. We are looking forward to recognizing the District Teacher of the Year winner very, very soon. Looking ahead as we kind of close out, just want to let the board know we'll begin milestones testing this week. I want to thank all of our teachers and students for all of their hard work this year, and proud of them. We were able to attend some pep rallies today at several of our schools to celebrate the work of our kids, and just remind everybody that we utilize those test results to evaluate our practice as educators, and very excited to see the progress that we've made. And the whole goal of that is just so we can continue to improve instruction for our students. And then finally, I want to make everybody aware of our community event coming up at Appalachia High School on May 10th to thank our community for all the support that they have provided through a challenging year, and we're excited for that. I want to thank all of our staff who's taken part in that, along with our community members who are partnering with us to make that event a success. So that concludes the system update. Also want to remind the board and thank the board for their work. We've done several trainings over the course of this semester with regard to governance. We've covered the topics of finance, capital outlay, norms and protocols, as well as developed our beliefs as a governance team. You can see on the screen behind me how much fun we had when we were doing that. We got to spend quite a bit of time together, but just wanted to kind of review 2 deliverables from those trainings. One was our norms and protocols. Just a reminder, this is our promise to our stakeholders of what they can expect from our behavior as a governance team. So there's agreements there in the areas of the superintendent, board members, chain of command, decision-making, communication, as well as board meetings. So we'll have that posted on our website for anyone to review. It's also attached to this meeting in eBoard for anyone who wants to see that. But that's basically expectations that our stakeholders can have of us as a governance team in terms of how we operate. The second thing I wanted to cover was our belief statements. This was probably the most fun that we had. Had a lot of really, really good conversation about our work as a governance team, about our staff's work in terms of across the school system. So just bear with me. I think this is important. I want to read each one so we can all understand what that means. but it says at BCSS, we prioritize students above all else. We are committed to providing safe and secure schools that deliver high-quality education. Each of our schools fosters a unique culture of learning closely connected to the community it serves. We believe that literacy should be the foremost academic priority of our school system. We are committed to emphasizing early literacy and continuously nurturing these skills throughout students' educational journeys. We are dedicated to ensuring student content mastery, academic growth, and data-driven success. By celebrating progress and achievement, we foster continuous improvement. Accountability is a shared responsibility among faculty and staff, students, families, and the Board of Education. We believe that students should have access to the best resources and opportunities available. We are committed to offering a variety of pathways to ensure that each child can succeed in their educational journey. We believe that staff should receive competitive salaries and benefits, be provided with opportunities for career growth and professional development, and be granted flexibility to support other obligations. We believe that our families and community should be active partners, supporting schools through engagement and commitment. I wanted to read those because that is what is going to ground our work in governance, and we wanted to make that clear to the folks in this room and certainly our entire community as we move forward to improve our school system. So I would ask, Madam Chair, that we place those belief statements as well as our updated norms and protocols on the consent agenda for next week.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. LaDuff. Everyone good with moving that to consent?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to presentations and discussions. Start with Dr. Bowen.
Good evening. As previously promised, I'm back to share some information on School Dog. If you remember, this is an app created by practitioners to aid in gathering and analyzing data related to our facilities, including safety, but also cleanliness, maintenance, and positive climate and culture are just some of the categories. I'm happy to report that our campuses in the pilot, which are Appalachia, CFIT, Russell Middle, Winder Elementary, and Winder Barrow High School, are doing an outstanding job of both conducting the daily campus walks, but also in entering their observations into the app, into the School Dog app. We've had about 600 entries in less than 2 months. Most of those have been praises that are affirming our best practices, while some have identified a few areas of need in the various categories. We want to continue to gather data in order to make us better, but also to assess the app itself. As this is a pilot, we haven't decided to use it district-wide yet. We plan to make that decision at the end of the school year about expanding. I also want to give a big thanks to our SROs, Lieutenant Lateral and Chief Skinner, for their efforts with School Dog. And also a big thanks to Dr. LaDuff and the board for allowing us to pilot this tool. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bowen. All right, moving on to Ms. Houston, Business Services.
Good evening. I just wanted to give you a budget update for fiscal year 2026. It is in its final stages and will be ready for review this month. I will present a summary of the tentative general fund budget, the other funds budget, and the millage rate at the work session on May 27th for your approval on June 3rd. I welcome the opportunity for the board to meet with me to go through these items prior to the work session for a more in-depth look at those items. Then if we get the tentative approval on June 3rd, we'll move forward with our public hearings on the budget on June 12th and June 23rd. And then if all goes well, on June 24th, we'll have a final approved budget. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Perno, Systems Operations.
Good evening. System Operations has 2 information items tonight and 5 action items. Our first information item is a report on our BASA 3 facility, also known as the Performing Arts Center. And unless you'd like to receive further reports, this will probably be our last one as we're wrapping things up there. Currently, we're working through the punch list on the facility and grounds. Very soon, our IT business services and maintenance folks will get in there and complete items that they need to accomplish. We'll also be performing training and instruction on the building systems to our staff. And so here in the next few weeks, leading up to an event there at the beginning of July, we'll close things out with construction. All right. Our next item of information is an update on the classroom pod at Windermere High School. And as you can see there, all the units have been brought onto the site and assembled. Demolition is complete, earthwork is ongoing, site utilities are underway, building retaining walls are underway, precast steps and ramps underway. The overhead mechanical, as you see there, electrical, plumbing, rough-in is underway, and ceiling grid has begun as well. So we're on target there for completion this summer, ahead of next school year, and we're pleased with our progress there. Any questions on those information items? Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So we have 5 action items tonight. I'm going to present these first 3, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Webb, our Director of Maintenance, to get the final 2. The first item here is an architect recommendation for system athletic improvements. And as we just saw there, we're nearing the completion of our BASA 3 facility, or Performing Arts Center. And so we're looking to take the final steps in the build-out of BASA by completing athletic facilities at this campus. This would include a baseball field, softball field, a stadium with track and field, gymnasium, and the support facilities that go along with that, locker rooms, concessions, and those sorts of things. The reason we call this system athletic improvements is because we need to look at some other areas of our athletic programs in the county, at Appalachia and Windermere High School, our middle schools. We've got to look at resurfacing our tracks, perhaps middle school field lighting. We have soccer programs there now. They play in January and February. It gets dark early. Fence replacement. Some of our scoreboards are getting a little age on them, and some of them maybe close to on their last legs, you might say. But this isn't an exhaustive list, but there's just some examples of the things that we need to take a look at and study on and see how we can move forward with some or all of these items. The first step in that is getting a design professional on board to help us plan, design, budget, schedule these various pieces. So we're going to ask the superintendent to recommend approval of Cunningham, Forehand, Matthews, and Moore for architectural services for system athletic improvements for Barrow County schools. Cunningham, Forehand, Matthews, and Moore has provided proposals for architectural services in December of 2017, along with other firms. When we reviewed those submissions, they scored extremely well. Their fees remain the same as originally submitted, and the work they have performed for our district on prior projects has been exemplary. Their prior projects include BASA 1 and 2, recent summer renovation projects, the original design for Bethlehem and County Line, as well as the Performing Arts Center. In terms of financial impact, for design services, Barrow County Schools sets a flat fee of 5% of the cost of construction for design. Any questions on that item?
Mr. Parno, I just have one, and again, just help educate me. Is the 5% cost, is that average? I mean, I know that's what we set here, but, you know, in the community, I have no idea.
Sure. I would say it's a standard fee structure. Typically, if you have a lower value project, you might see that number increase. And then with the higher value projects, you might see that decrease. But we've set that fee at 5% to say we feel that's fair and reasonable. And we want to set that piece aside, and now we want to evaluate all firms on everything else you do and you can provide. So that's kind of how we went about that particular figure.
Okay, thank you for that additional information.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Our second action item tonight, an underground easement is needed for Georgia Power to establish and maintain power to the classroom pod that we just discussed there at Windermere High School. There's no anticipated financial impact with this item, so we're asking the superintendent to recommend approval of an easement for Georgia Power to allow for electrical service at the classroom pod at Windermere High School. Any questions about that item? Okay. Our third item, lease of the Chimneys Complex from the City of Winder. The Barrow County School System's year 2000 lease with the City of Winder for use of the Chimneys Complex along the Monroe Highway for Winder-Barrow High School baseball and softball programs expires this August. However, the lease allows for 2 10-year extensions, so long as written notice is provided to the city ahead of lease expiration. The school system would provide a written request in order to exercise its right of extension for a 10-year period. There's no financial impact anticipated with this item, and so we're going to ask the superintendent to recommend exercising the option to extend use of the Chimneys Complex for an additional 10-year period per the terms of the August 2000 agreement with the City of Winder. Any questions about that item? Okay. All right, thank you. I'm going to ask Greg Webb to come up front to speak on these final 2 items.
Good evening. Both of these items 4 and 5, are very similar. In order to comply with purchasing policy DJED, and this is item number 4, the superintendent recommends increasing the approved fiscal year 25 aggregate purchase amount with Athens janitorial services from $490,000 to $532,247. The board approved an aggregate spending amount with Athens janitorial services for $490,000 for fiscal year 25. This aggregate spending amount was specifically for custodial supplies per an RFP awarded to Athens janitorial services. During fiscal year 25, maintenance incurred expenses which were not part of the fiscal year 25 budget. 1, custodial equipment for 2 pods at Appalachia High School, and 2, 25 trash cans at the Innovation Amphitheater to replace the trash cans previously provided by Golden Productions. Competitive pricing was utilized for this custodial equipment purchase. The equipment totaled $39,055.22. The trash receptacle awarded purchase order amount was $3,192. The financial impact is $42,247.92, with the funds being reallocated within the fiscal year 25 maintenance general fund approved budget. Any questions on item number 4? All right, I'll move on to item number 5. Again, in order to comply with purchasing policy DJED, the superintendent recommends increasing the approved fiscal year 25 aggregate purchase amount with Republic Services from $227,000 to $231,344. The board approved an aggregate spending amount with Republic Services for $227,000 in fiscal year 25. This aggregate spending amount was specifically for weekly trash services, weekly recycling services, and budgeted open-top container pickups. Expenses were incurred after the events of September 4 for the additional open-top containers during the installation of the temporary classroom pod at Appalachia High School and the emergency work at the Chi East facility. The agreed-upon cost for each 40-yard container with Republic is $362.12 per pull. The 12 additional pulls total $4,344. The financial impact is $4,344, with the funds being reallocated within the fiscal year 25 maintenance general funds approved budget. Questions?
No,
We're good? Thank you.
I did have a question. I
Yeah.
understood Ms. Bradford, you said something about the trash can.
Oh, we figured it out, the cost increase.
Oh, okay, okay,
We're good?
never mind.
All right, thank you
All
all.
right, thank you. So we'll move these items to consent? Okay. All right, and now Dr. Moten, teaching and learning.
Good evening. Teaching and Learning has two items. There is one information item and one action item. For the first item, we have a presentation on Georgia's K-12 English Language Arts Standards update. And I'll begin, and then I'll ask Dr. James and Mrs. Fallows to join me for elementary and secondary respectively. So on the next slide here, you can see that the Georgia Department of Education has five priorities that they've laid out for the implementation of the new ELA standards. Those include teachers receiving professional learning, new resources, assessment alignment, and communication. In addition to the items that Georgia Department of Education is providing, we do have some internal resources that have been curated for our teachers as well. On this slide, you can see that there are 4 items: the Georgia Suitcase for ELA, Georgia Inspire, Milestones Assessment Resources, and ELA Support. On the next few slides, I'll go through what those are. So Georgia DOE Suitcase is where standards are laid out. So for each of the grade bands, there are ELA standards that are included. This is also public-facing, and there are links that are accessible on the DOE website. So access to each of the new standards is there. And on the next slide, there are instructional resources that have been curated by Georgia DOE. So when you go to Inspire, you'll find content including curriculum maps that teachers can use, assessments, planning resources, unit lessons, other interactive game-like content through a platform called Velocity. So the standards are there, and then there are actually resources that are available and public-facing so that parents and educators and the community can see what those resources are to accompany the new standards. On the next slide, Georgia Milestones, there are some assessment resources that are available there. You see a couple of categories there, including 23 parent and student resources, including study guides, achievement level descriptors, practice tests, and then there are 123 educator resources included under the Milestones assessment resources for ELA. And then there's test administration resources that include guidelines for administering milestones, and then technology resources on items that students and teachers will need, like keyboards, access to headphones, etc. On the next slide, there are also some Georgia Classroom ELA support resources available to help implement the new standards. Those include information that's been curated by Georgia DOE as well. As you can see, there's information from PBS, NPR, and the Georgia Public Broadcasting System. This includes model lessons. There are videos there that teachers can access. There are learning plans, demonstrations, and literacy support that is there. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. James to share with the board the work that has been done through professional learning and preparing our teachers for implementation of the new ELA standards, and their specific work that has been done at the elementary level.
Thank you. Good evening. Listed here are the areas of focus for this evening. I will share details for each area. We have been engaging in a lot of great work this year. This list outlines the training and professional learning that staff, including Barrow County School System teacher leaders, instructional coaches, and school administrators have engaged in. There are 6 highlighted on this slide, and I will use the next few slides to highlight these learning opportunities. As Dr. Moten mentioned, next year is full implementation of our new ELA standards, so with the training received, we knew there would be a lot of work to ensure that not only did our teachers become familiar with the language of the standards, but that they also felt confident in teaching the new standards. We brought a group of teachers and instructional coaches in to kickstart this work. We used an approach that helped us focus on facilitating student learning opportunities and helped us prioritize intended learning outcomes instead of topics to be covered. Our kindergarten through second grade teacher leaders and instructional coaches dug in deep with the grade level ELA standards and various resources from the Georgia Department of Education to review the learning progression of standards by developing a concept of what the standards were asking us to teach. Our third through fifth grade teacher leaders, as well as our instructional coaches, dug in deep with the standards using similar documents, but also adding the achievement level descriptors for 2 of our 4 domains for our new standards, which is language and text domain, to help us identify our success criteria with proficiency and mastery of the new ELA standards. Some of our questions that guided this work were, how do we know if our student has mastered a grade level standard and if they are proficient in the standard? How can we tailor our learning to provide all students across our district with learning experiences that promote success for all of our students? And what does success look like for all of our students, not just some, but all? On this next slide, we went into our curriculum maps where we created a structured visual representation of what is taught over a period of time, digging into what resources we currently have available with our new HMH curriculum, while also supporting teachers with meeting the needs of their students, considering what resources have been provided by the Georgia Department of Education through Inspire, what additional resources can we take advantage of through our Northeast Georgia RESA, what professional learning, what support do our teachers need. All of our feedback was provided by teachers based on what they communicated they needed, what they felt their colleagues needed, and what they envisioned new teachers to the profession or even new teachers to our district will need. The pacing on the far right is a draft. We are currently working collaboratively to complete the pacing guides from what was captured during our work sessions so that we can provide teachers with these documents prior to leaving for the summer. And we're also currently collaborating to complete the information so that we can also provide information to our parents based on our new ELA standards. With our ELA K-5 domain days, staff received training and professional learning focused on the framework domains. Our foundation domains is only in K-5. It focuses on helping students build the foundational skills needed to be fluent lifelong learners. Our language domain focuses on applying grammar, usage mechanics, and word analysis to help students comprehend, analyze, and construct text. The text domain focuses on providing opportunities for students to grow in their reading and learning by being intentional and purposeful with selected text and opportunities. And the practices domain determines ways that we can embed student engagement and intention for comprehension beyond the text. It also focuses on consistently developing comprehension strategies in a variety of texts. Our Let's Read Georgia program, for the first time ever, our regional education agencies across the state united to tackle literacy in a new and innovative way. With House Bill 538, Georgia legislators recognized that educators would need continued support to fully implement structured literacy in Georgia classrooms. Currently, our instructional coaches are receiving training to continue to equip them as leaders as they extend their instructional knowledge to teachers, who will in return provide quality learning experiences for students. And I've listed some of the topics on this slide that our instructional coaches are receiving professional learning in. 3 additional training opportunities that our staff have engaged in or will continue to engage in We had district professional learning days, and our goal was to provide professional learning to all of our teachers across the district with the new ELA standards, utilizing our new curriculum, as well as the Georgia literacy modules. We wanted to show teachers that there was a strong correlation with all three of these areas so that our teachers did not feel like they were teaching and doing all three in isolation. We received a lot of very positive feedback that helped us develop each session for our teachers. Our Northeast Georgia RESA will also provide another offering of the new ELA standards for building leaders that were unable to attend during the school year. And lastly, our Georgia Literacy Academy through Cox Campus has offered free professional learning sessions for educators in Georgia that also meet the requirements of the Georgia Early Literacy Act. And they all tie beautifully with our new ELA standards, so it's exciting that our teachers are continuously receiving support. And lastly, all of our instructional resources are included in our elementary SharePoint as well as through our new curriculum, and both are accessible to all of our Barrow County teachers as well as our leaders.
Are there any questions about the elementary resources? Again, there are resources from the Department of Education, and we also have some internal work, extensive internal work that has been done.
Dr. Wagner, I just have one question. Great work. I really appreciate that, Dr. James. Regarding the utilization of the resources available, do we track that with the teachers or, that go in to utilize the resources? Do we track the use of it?
Yes, that's a good question. We actually do. We were able to partner with our schools during the end of this semester, and we had around maybe 80% of our teachers that were utilizing the resources, and our plan is to provide additional support throughout the year so that we can support them in the new resources. It's a new program, so we want to make sure we're supporting them continuously.
No, I appreciate that. And I just, at some other point in time, Dr. LaDuff, I'd love to see that data. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Quick question, when will this be included in milestones testing? The new
The
standards?
new ELA standards will be included the 26-27 school year.
Okay, I missed that.
Thank you.
So we'll be sure to provide information regarding the analytics and usage of our internal resources. If there are no other questions about elementary, I welcome Mrs. Fallows to share the work that has been done at the secondary level.
Good evening. All right, let's see. So I'm going to highlight a lot of the same kind of things you'll see from elementary, but at the secondary level, and I hope that you'll see a very clear connection between those two, a lot of cohesion. But at secondary ed, again, we focused on ELA standards work and the training and professional learning teachers need, as well as those instructional resources they'll need for next year to fully implement those standards in their classrooms. So you'll see on this first slide, we started by establishing a 612 ELA team of leaders and developed an action plan, a professional learning plan for this year and into next year to make sure that we had the proper training for our teachers. And then from there, you'll see that we've worked very closely with Northeast Georgia RESA. Our 612 specialist there, Lori Gannetti, has been amazing in working with our teachers at the middle and high school level. We had our leaders all attend a new ELA standards training with Northeast Georgia RESA where DOE partnered with them. And then the Navigating the New ELA Standards overview, you'll see that all middle school and high school ELA teachers did go to a half-day PL when we kicked off this year during pre-planning, led by Ms. Gannetti, that just gave them kind of a quick overview and introduction to the standards. And then from there, we have 36 teachers from across all of our schools who their administrators tagged them as leaders to help build that base knowledge in our district and lead their teams. So those 36 teacher leaders and coaches attended both fall and spring workshops that the DOE did. They traveled from RESA to RESA across the state to facilitate that training. And after those trainings, the goal was that those teacher leaders would go back and redeliver that in their schools. And additionally, there were 612 domain days, just like Dr. James spoke of at the elementary level. For those, we had 25 teacher leaders and coaches attend each of those 3 domain days. And it was great. They actually offered a couple of date options for each of the domains to make sure we could ensure all of our 25 leaders were able to be there. And then from there, we had a redelivery of that DOE and Northeast Georgia RESA PL throughout this school year. By January, all of that original training was done, and it was really redelivering it in the school. And then from there, Georgia Learns, K-12, yes, okay, sorry. We also got courses from the state in Georgia Learns, which is an online platform that our teachers can go in and do asynchronous PD through. And we've asked all of our ELA teachers from middle and high school to complete courses 1 through 3. And that is to assure that everybody has that base foundational knowledge about the new standards. And additionally, we had ELA graduation guidance that the state put out, and we've had admin and counselors and graduation specialists be a part of those webinars and follow-up discussions to make sure we know how to best advise our students based on these new standards and the different offerings we now have. Okay, this next slide shows a bulk of the work our teacher leaders did. They also came together as PLC leads with 1 rep from each school. So at the middle school level, we had a representative from all 4 middle schools and AIM. And those teacher leaders worked together to really talk through the current resources and curriculum that they've been doing. And then they dug into those standards and dreamed up, okay, how are we going to teach these standards? Because the state gives you a lot of resources, but it's up to your districts and your schools to decide the order you're going to do things in and how you're going to chunk those into thematic units. So I'm really proud of the work that they've developed. We're continuing that. They're gathering again after milestones to finalize the drafts of those, and then those drafts will go out to all of our teachers in the district to give some feedback, and then those leaders will have another time to look at that feedback and make any final adjustments before we put the stamp on the drafts for next year. So you'll see that we have a secondary curriculum site where middle school and high school maps and vetted resources are housed in our SharePoint. If you'll go to the next one. And then in this next slide, I wanted to highlight the impact of these common maps. So what we're really wanting to have is a common target. We all know what the standards are. We know those achievement level descriptors. And then in our subject areas, we've decided, okay, and these are the learning targets. This is how we're going to know when our kids have mastered it. So they're going to eventually have common assessments developed around those. And then at the school level, they'll develop school level learning plans. So that is just an example of the curriculum mapping checklist that our teachers use to develop the maps. And then you'll see the logo of Formative down there because your support of Formative is huge, and it's really allowing them to very efficiently and with vetted items build common assessments both at the district level and then in the school level formatively along the way. It's called Formative, but those formative, the more often assessments that'll tell us, okay, where are my kids struggling? Where do I need to do some reteaching or maybe teach this in a different way? And then, let's see. I wanted to highlight a few of the comments from teachers. 95.7% of those respondents agreed that our goals were accomplished in these sessions this year that we've had with our ELA leaders. 98.6% agreed it was beneficial to collaboratively work. They really enjoyed getting to collaborate across schools. And then I wanted to highlight a couple of the comments at the bottom. It was invaluable to have the opportunity to come together and exchange ideas with teachers from other middle schools across the county. I hope that these opportunities for collaboration continue to take place in the future. And this PL was extremely helpful, especially the time we had to work in our team. So we're really building that collaborative culture and that safe space where we're all just sharing ideas with each other. And then looking ahead into the next school year, full ELA teams will be gathering during pre-planning, and they will then design those unit learning plans they'll go back and carry out based on a common district map. And then you'll see that Georgia Learns has also published adolescent literacy courses, just like they had with early literacy, but focused on for secondary teachers. And so our ELA teachers and possibly other subject areas will be engaging in those next year. And then again, you'll see that we will start to dive into that common unit assessments across the district as we go through next school year, with an aim of the following year having those in place in all of our ELA courses. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
I have one question that came up, and this
Sure.
is just from observing our teachers over the last several days. If we go back, we look at these things that we go in, and we realize a teacher needs to reteach something, instead of reteaching the whole class, if we know that some have gotten it or whatever, do we reteach the whole class, or do we have something that we can take these kids and let them continue to move on?
Yes,
How do we do
we
that?
absolutely would want to target that remediation to small, that's where those small groups in the classroom and the use of technology in ways where you can push something out to this student that's different from this one, or this group's having, maybe enriching while I'm pulling this smaller group. So absolutely, that's a way that you can use that formative data. It gets very specific down to the item, the standard, the element, so that they can very quickly say, okay, these kids I need to pull a small group and work on this area.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have one item. Oh, I'm sorry, one more.
Just one action
Okay.
item.
That's what I was going to do.
Winterboro High School is beginning to use the IXL program in a variety of ways, including data for multi-tier system of supports, also known as MTSS. They are using it in reading. IXL gives diagnostic data on students' progress and mastery of standards and reading levels. Students have individualized education plans, and/or those who are in need of extra instruction in reading have been using IXL as a support in reading and other subject areas. Winterboro High School also uses the program to support students who are not fluent in English. They also have access to practice in all subject areas for students, and Winterboro has found that this program is amazing because it offers translation and audio support for those students who need it. Winterboro High School administrators plan to provide professional learning through services from a vendor, as well as a partnership with the feeder site of Heyman Morris Middle School. Administrators will monitor the usage and growth reports to decide if the program positively impacted academic achievement. Additional program effectiveness data will include progress monitoring, comparison to the end of course assessment, access assessment scores from the 25-26 school year. For the financial impact, although the amount is under our threshold of $75,000, the actual amount is $59,195 based on the aggregate amount of funds expended with this vendor. It is important that we bring it back to the Board of Education based on the total amount with this vendor. Funds will be expended from the L4GA grant. Therefore, the superintendent recommends authorizing the purchase of IXL for Winterboro High School for the 25-26 school year. The total cost will be $59,195.
Okay, move to consent. All right. Thank you, Dr. Moten. All right. Dr. Kurtz, Human Resources.
All right, good evening. Nice to see everybody. I have a single action item for the Human Resources Department to be placed on the consent agenda for the May 6th regular session board meeting. But before I talk about and request that be placed on there for reauthorization, I want to talk a little bit about our Employee Assistance Program, where it currently stands, and update you on related supports there at the Appalachia High School. We've built 4 major support center positions. 2 of those were through Advantage Behavioral, and I expect that contract will come up for renewal in the next month or so. Dr. Lowe's working on that now. We've got one of those clinicians on, and that's a student clinician, been on for a couple of months now, and has been very busy. We're excited to get a second one hired and are working on the start date right now for that person because there seems to be plenty of work for them. We also have our recovery coordinator position that's been on a couple of months now, Ms. Kelsey Zimmer, who's working hard on our AEAP grant, which is the Anti-Terrorism and Emergency Assistance Program grant that is funding all 4 of these positions, as well as some other related supports. She's been on a couple of months and is working to help us get our last position filled, and that is this Employee Assistance Program position. This board authorized a contract with the Northeast Georgia Medical Center in the regular board meeting on February 4th. Since that time, we've worked with Adam Rollerson there at the medical center. He's their Employee Assistance Program manager or director. He's worked very closely with the leadership at the district as well as folks at the school, counselor, the principal, and others, and has found us a great candidate. We have hired somebody for that position through Northeast Georgia Medical Center, and they will start next Monday. So we're excited about that. Hate to wait, but we just need one great person for every position. That's what we say in human resources, but we need at least one great person for every position. So we're very thankful that both of these contractors and the leadership at Appalachia has taken the time to get great people in each of these positions because our staff and our students deserve that kind of support. So this is a renewal for the agreement with the Northeast Georgia Medical Center to provide a full-time trained clinician to work at Appalachia High School to support staff members for the school year FY26. It was originally approved in February 4th regular meeting. And this will be our first renewal or extension of that contract. We expect the full amount of the contract to be $120,000 as a maximum for the regular 190-day school year. However, the total financial impact is expected to be up to $135,000 because we have the option to purchase at cost additional time for summer work, and the school, Ms. Zimmer there, the recovery coordinator, has been working with the medical center to schedule some summer hours to support our staff through the summertime as well. We're able to expand that. We want to make sure we have money, sufficient money there. Again, all of this is intended to be funded out of the Anti-Terrorism and Assistance Program grant, the EAP grant, that we are finishing right now, or Ms. Zimmer is working on right now. Any questions about placing the Employee Assistance Program contract with Northeast Georgia Medical Center on the consent agenda for the May 6th regular board meeting with an estimated maximum cost of $135,000? Thank you so much for your support.
Move to consent? All right. Moving on to Dr. Thompson, Strategic Information Services.
Good evening. We have 5 items of information and 4 action items for the board tonight. And we are going to ask when we get to the action items, there are 2 of those that we are going to request the board take action on tonight, and Mr. St. Clair will explain that a little more in depth when he gets to those items. So we're going to start out with the March communication report. You know, you see this report every month, but I do like to highlight some things that are worth noting. So Rochelle, if you'll scroll down just a little bit, if you go to that second page, Dr. Kurtz mentioned, if you go back up a couple, Rochelle, one more. There you go. Dr. Kurtz mentioned Ms. Zimmer, our recovery coordinator at Appalachia. If you haven't watched this video, it's a very short interview with her. She really has hit the ground running. She brings a tremendous passion to her work, and it has been an absolute boon to Appalachia High School and the recovery efforts. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about her, you can watch the video that was compiled, which is on our YouTube page. It's really an outstanding job. And what I wanted to also focus on, if you'll go down a few more, Rochelle, I'll kind of tell you when to stop. We focus a lot. You can want a couple more. There we go. One more. There we go. So we focus a lot on retention. And when you're talking about retaining teachers and staff, the 2 primary factors in that are going to be the culture and climate that the leader of the building builds. People want to be a part of a positive environment where they're challenged and supported at the same time, and also the investment the school system makes in their salaries and benefits and being competitive in a competitive hiring market. But one of the things we also focus on is recruitment. How do we better recruit those teachers and tell our story of Barrow County schools to get them here? And our communications department does a fantastic job of that. And one of the things that Michael and Jackson put together was recruitment videos for each of our schools to kind of tell their story, to try to get that out into the market to help them, and working with our Human Resources Department and our recruitment coordinator on that. And you can see those were among the highest watched and engaged with videos during the month of March. And we really appreciate the work they did to put that together. It's just one more tool that we use our communications department for in terms of trying to make sure we get the best staff to Barrow County. So I hope you take a look at those. Some of them are really creative, really well done. They always do a fantastic job. So that's the communications report. Next up is the 140th day enrollment count. This was taken on April 1st. And this is didn't change a lot from the previous enrollment counts that we did this year, so I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on it. We are really starting to amp up into the high registration season, and that will pick up over the next few months. And so we will see some of the trends in terms of whether we're going to see the growth we had the prior 3 or 4 years to last year, whether we're going to continue to see a little bit of a holding pattern on that. So we're sort of waiting on pins and needles to see how that comes out, but you can see the 140th day report. The next item on the agenda, we came to you guys a couple months ago and talked about the Georgia CCRPI, which is the accountability system for the state of Georgia in terms of looking at academics and student outcomes, the College Career Readiness Performance Index. One of the facets of the CCRPI is the climate star ratings. This started in 2018. This largely went away during the pandemic and has now come back. And so I'm going to ask Ms. Jenny Persinger to come up and to walk the board through our 2024 climate star ratings.
Thank you. Good evening. I was excited to read in the belief statements about data-driven success and shared responsibility and accountability, because that's all in my title and all those things that I like to spend time on. So like Dr. Thompson said, we came to you in January with those CCRPI scores, a lot of which are based on test scores, those milestone scores, which start tomorrow. So the next time we present those will be based on the tests we're about to take. But then this is the school climate star ratings. They are published alongside CCRPI, but it's a completely separate calculation. CCRPI is given by the Department of Education's Office of Accountability. This measure comes from the Office of Whole Child Supports Health and Safety. So there are 4 components that you can see there that make up this score. So the first one we'll look at is the survey component. It is made up of 3 different surveys, technically 4. The Georgia Student Health Survey 2.0, there's 2 different surveys, one that we give to 3rd through 5th graders, and then a separate one that goes to 6th to 12th graders. There's also, there's 2 different personnel surveys, one for teachers and then one for other staff that are not instructional teachers. And then there's also a parent survey. So that survey component kind of puts the responses of all those surveys together. Those windows are run December through March. So again, these are from over a year ago, what makes up this score that we're looking at tonight. We just recently closed those windows for the scores that will come out next year. There are 2 different areas in those surveys. They're academic support environment and then health, safe, and supportive environment. So it asks questions about, do you feel supported by your teachers, and then what kinds of behaviors occur at your school or that you've been a part of. Those are very school-specific links. So we don't have personalized data. We don't know who took the survey, but we know it's specific to a school. And then their audience-appropriate questions. That's why the 3 through 5 survey is different than the 6 through 12 survey. We are required to have a minimum participation at each level. So at our students and staff level, we have to have 75% participation. And then for parent participation, we need to have at least 15. Now, obviously, we work to get a lot more than that. The schools do a lot, and Nicole and her communications team help them kind of publish those survey links. It's easier to do those captive audiences in the building. We can bring the students in, use their Chromebooks. We can do the same with teachers and staff. It's harder when we're talking about those families. So I know a lot of schools do it at a parent event. They have Chromebooks out ready for those families to take that survey. I gave you a link there if you're interested in what some of those questions. You can see all the questions ahead of time. And then that wraps up that survey portion of the calculation. The next area is student discipline, and it is truly a weighted suspension rate. So when you look at this table here that is presented, no student counts more than once, so it's kind of their highest value of where they would fall in those. So you can see what you know about schools is that this would impact middle school and high school more than it would elementary school, and so we'll see later how that plays into the calculation. The third area is the safe and substance-free learning environment. And in elementary, that comes strictly from the behavior incidents that we report to the state. And then in middle school and high school, it also comes from questions from those surveys that the students took. It looks at drug-related, violent, or bullying harassment incidents. Those are kind of the three areas that it looks at. And then also questions on the survey for those older children. That is an individual school count when we look at those behavior incidents. So one student could actually have multiple incidents, and a lot of times when we see a higher number than we like, it's a smaller population of the school that kind of we call those repeat offenders. They're back a lot of times, and we're working to correct some behaviors, reteach some behaviors, but a lot of times that's where that impact comes from. I do also want to point out that I like to stress to our schools, we report what happens. We're in no way trying to manipulate any data. Sometimes it doesn't always look great for us, but we're going to report what happens. So I'm not sure that that's always been true in other districts, but I'm just going to tell you in Barrow, we're good about reporting what happens and being truthful in our reporting. And then that final area is school-wide attendance. So it looks at student attendance data. We want students to be present while they're enrolled with us. So this number looks at students who are absent 10% or more of their enrolled days. And then student and staff and teacher attendance is looking specifically at sick days. So it's not when teachers put in leave for professional learning because they're still working with us. So this is looking at sick days. And then it also works to not kind of knock us down if a teacher or another staff member is on FMLA. So it kind of caps them at 30 days. It doesn't count them so that they don't hit us far higher than that. So those are the 4 areas that impact, but then there's also the personalized climate. So we get 5 additional bonus points if your school is recognized as a positive behavioral interventions and support school, and all of our Barrow County schools are. It's not just something you can claim and say, yes, we are. You have to be recognized by Department of Education. We send them our data and some reports, and they have all Barrow County schools recognized by Department of Education. So then the next slide kind of shows you the different scales. It's, like I said, it's different at elementary versus middle and high school. And you can see at elementary particularly, those numbers are really close together. So it doesn't take much to hit from one star to the next. And then that last slide shows you kind of where our schools hit. Now remember, this is all the 23-24 school year that we just got results on that we could publish for you this month. So are there any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you. Something that I will point out in this is you'll notice we're talking about the 23-24 school year, and it's in March of 25. One of the frustrating things about state level accountability is it takes a long time for us to get those results back. So we get the CCRPI academic somewhere around November or December, so you're 6 months out from when kids took those tests. This is almost a year out from when most of this data was. So that puts a lot on us to make sure that we have interim measures that we're looking at, that we know that we're trending in the right direction. Because if you just wait around to see if what you did work and 6 months passes before you do, you've wasted 6 months not knowing, without being able to change what was not working. So ultimately it puts a lot on us to try to have those interim measures to be able to try to predict these kinds of things, and we try to be very skilled at doing that. So the next information item, and these are going to be quick updates. One of the things we need to do next year is to update our strategic plan. Our current 5-year strategic plan will end next school year, which means we have to go about the process of writing our new one. Usually when districts undergo writing a strategic plan, they engage an outside facilitator that brings some expertise, objectivity and structure that you wouldn't have if you did that internally. We vetted several organizations that do this for school systems and have histories of doing this in Georgia. And after discussion, we decided the Georgia School Board Association, GSBA, who has done these type of strategic planning processes for many, many, many districts in the state, was where we wanted to go. So we sat down and had some conversations with them, even though we were very gratified that even though they were the one we wanted to use, we did not know this until we started having the discussions with them. As a show of solidarity for September 4th and what we went through, GSBA actually waived their standard fee for doing this process for us. They are only going to charge us for basic expenses, travel, things like that. So normally that's a fairly substantial that you have to pay. So we are very, very appreciative to GSBA, and that was something we did not know they were going to do for us when we selected them as the way we wanted to go, but it was very, very fortuitous, so we appreciate them. What this will look like, and I can't go into much detail because we're still working on the logistics of some of these things. Writing a strategic plan is a 4 to 6 month process. You have to get a lot of input from your stakeholders, your community, your school board, your teachers, parents. Typically, that runs 4 to 6 months. We are looking to start that process in October. That will enable us to finish that up in the spring so that we can have a finished strategic plan to the board well in advance of the 2027 school year, so we can have that in place and start working on that plan immediately. The board will be involved in that process. The school administrators will be involved, district administrators, parents, community members, students. We want to cast a broad net, and GSBA does a very nice job of offering different options for how you can get that input, both in terms of focus groups that we may host, but also surveys that we would send out. We will do all of those things in some fashion or another, and then there's work that's done to take all of that feedback and to work that into a achievable plan and to synthesize all of that data. One of the things we want to put a heavy premium on this time around is to have very strategic, measurable objectives in the plan. That's one of the things that we recognize is a weakness of our current plan, and we want to make sure that we have those metrics in place so that we're all pointing in the same direction towards the same outcomes that we're trying to achieve. So we're excited about that process. All of the people in this room pretty much will be involved in that in one fashion or another, and we look forward to that work because we know that's going to set the tone for the next 5 years in Barrow County and help us achieve the vision of the entire community. The fifth item I want to discuss is in January, the board approved a revision to our internal transfer policy. If you'll recall, we had permissive transfers at that time that brought some subjectivity into that process. And so we wanted to make that a more objective process. By law, with HB 251, we're required to open a window every year for schools that have space at specific grade levels. So we are in day 7 of a 15-day window per the new policy. And we have, to this point, had 65 parent requests for transfer. You can see that Ms. Rushton has the page that we have on our website where we are showing what grade levels have space available. It varies a little bit how much space, how many student slots there are at each school and grade level. Some of them have quite a few. Some may just have a couple. But parents are free to look at those and apply. That once that window wraps up, we will go through the process and start notifying parents if they have been approved. If they are approved, they will be approved for the 25-26 school year, and they will have to provide transportation. But we think this is a good, fair process that allows parents to exercise school choice so long as we're not putting strain on our schools by overcrowding classrooms. And we do this based on both the list capacity of the school, but also the average class size relative to the maximum class size limits in state board rule. So I'll answer any questions we have about that. Hearing none, thank you very much.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Are there any spaces available for kindergarten students who want to transfer this year?
Kindergarten's a little trickier because the way we would normally do this is we roll up the students that are already enrolled. So if you're looking at, say, County Line Elementary School, we take their 3rd graders, we roll them up to 4th grade. We add a growth factor in depending on what we're projecting. You can't really project kindergarten. We do that as part of that, but we're really estimating that. And so it's difficult. So a lot of times what we have in our regulation that we will look at doing is once the school year starts and there are students already enrolled in kindergarten, when we have an idea of where we are with our class size limitations, we have the ability to open up a window to allow that or not to do that. The regulation allows us to look at the numbers and decide. But the challenge with that is I can tell you with a reasonable degree of confidence what Bramlett Elementary's 5th grade is going to look like next year. I really can't tell you what their kindergarten is. We can estimate it from birth rates, things like that, but you're going to get much wider confidence intervals of how wrong you may be. And given that class sizes are very low at kindergarten, we want to be very cautious and make sure we don't run into a situation where we have more kids than we have teachers that can teach them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the action items, I'm going to ask Ms. Vallis to come up and to discuss the first of our RFPs, which is going to be for a mass communications platform.
Don't spoiler alert, Rochelle. Just kidding. Good evening. I think she's just getting back to the start of the presentation. Okay. I can't start unless I have the pretty slides. Good evening. I just wanted to take some time tonight to request and recommend the need concerning a new mass communication platform for the district and our schools. So first I'll get into the why of it. So this is just a very simple graphic showing how much is involved whenever we send out a piece of communication from Bexar County Schools. So this is, in the case of emergency, the first thing we do is we notify staff through internal email. Then we compose another piece of information that we send through a platform using for email and phone call to all of our families. Then from there, we log into another platform and send that through another platform for students and families who opt in to that channel of communication. Then, again, keeps going, another platform we log into for the website to update that if appropriate. Then social media, if appropriate. And then on top of that, there is one more platform that we use to fill out the elaborate emails that we do for like board briefs and that sort of thing. So you're talking, 4 to 5 different platforms to send one message, essentially. So what we're looking for is one tool, I like to call it one-stop shopping, one tool that can do all those things for roughly the same price. So this would be one place that can just log in, update the website, decide if I need to send an email with it, decide if I need to do text messaging or what we call two-way communication, and that's with teachers and families communicating back and forth with each other, and then also decide whether I put it on social media or not. So it'd be one place and just with clicks of buttons, and it'll go out to all. And the best part about it all, you can slip, I'm trying to do dramatic. There's an app for that, sorry. There's an app for that. The app lets you, as a parent, be able to have everything in one place. So right now, we have all of those platforms. That's several different things you have to check. And then not to mention, even at the school, different schools use different forms of communication as well. So then you're checking something else. The app will have it all in one place where you'll get that one-to-one, two-way communication for teachers and families eventually. I say eventually, and I'll get to that. And then also all district updates, all school website or live feed updates is what they call it. Any social media posts, it'll all be right there in one place. So if you go to the next slide, please. So some of the steps we took to get to this is we posted an RFP, and that was posted from March 18th to April 4th. We received 10 proposals. We established a committee of different representatives from IT, communications, a principal, and instructional support. From there, we individually scored the proposals, and then we met to discuss the top 3 scores. So that way we knew we were, focusing on the best 3 for what we wanted. That's the request for a proposal, just an example of that. That was what was posted. But you can go back to the slide, please. So from there, we decided of the top 3,
It was between Parent Square, Apogee, and Final Site. So what we've determined is based off the lowest bid, but also the highest score, that was Parent Square. That was based off, they met all of the recommendations, all the specifications, the rubric scoring of the committee, and then the budget. So that is why we've selected Parent Square for recommendation. And I want to read my very formal statement to you. The superintendent recommends awarding the purchase of a mass communication platform to low bid and highest scoring vendor, Parent Square, in the amount of $57,095, $3,000 of which is the implementation fee for the first year, and then $84,475 recurring for the option to renew for years 2 to 5, with an allowance for a maximum of 5% growth in cost per year. This is all, of course, pending approval of the fiscal year 2026 general fund budget. And I say that if you're wondering about the cost difference between the two, I was saying I'll get to that later with the Remind, or the one platform for two-way communication. We use a product called Remind, and they will no longer be supported eventually, and probably in like a year or two. And Parent Square actually acquired Remind. So what will happen is essentially the Parent Square, it'll just Remind and Parent Square will just balance each other out. So currently we spend $82,000 for all of the products I mentioned that we use, and this would be $84,475. I had a slide up there for next steps as well, if it is approved, and that would be, it would be about a 4 to 6 month implementation. So we did have some overlap where we have to keep our current vendors, some of them, while we implement the new product, which would also allow time for teacher training. Are there any questions?
How much money is that going to take for the 4 to 6 months? We have to keep the other vendors.
The other vendors, that will be, do you want me to give you like the exact cost? Okay, so $39,000-ish for Remind and $12,000 for the website.
Okay.
So those would, the $54,000 that, or $57,000, excuse me, that Parent Square would want for the first year, it does have a little bit of a buffer, but I've put that in my request for additional funds for this coming school year to cover the implementation and the fact that we have to keep the other ones while we implement the new.
So roughly $51,000?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Fowles, I just have one comment.
Yes.
Thank you. I can imagine that streamlining communication is going to be a benefit to everyone, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you, Ms. Fallis. And now we have 3 action items that Mr. John St. Clair, our Director of Technology, is going to talk the board through.
Thank you. As part of our ongoing 5-year technology refresh cycle, 500 standard desktop computers are sought to replace end-of-life computers. An RFP was posted and 19 vendors responded. Low bid respondent Dell met the terms of the RFP. They've done similar business with us before, and they are not adversely listed in the SAM.gov database. We are also seeking authorization to use this. I asked Nicole to use my line and she didn't, so I'm flabbergasted. No, anyway, all right. So we are also seeking authorization to use this RFP for any additional standard desktop computer purchases required between now and into the fiscal year, subject, of course, to normal board reporting and approval guidelines. The financial impact is $262,500 from ITS SPLOST technology refresh funds. And if there are any straggler computers purchased, that'll be $525 from whatever budget is requesting the additional computers. We are asking that the board vote on this one and the next one at the end of this meeting today. The RFPs, when we post them, we require 90 days pricing be locked in, but we live in exciting times right now. And when I asked the vendor how long they felt they could genuinely guarantee the pricing and stock availability, the response was order as soon as possible. So we're not only competing with your other district trying to get summer in, we're also competing with current interesting times. So the superintendent recommends awarding the purchase of standard desktop computers from low bid respondent Dell of Round Rock, Texas, in the amount of $525 per unit 500 units for a total of $262,500, and further authorization to use this RFP for any additional desktop computer purchases through June 30th, 2025, subject to normal board approval and reporting guidelines.
All right. We'll move that, we'll approve that later.
Thank you.
Okay.
As part of our ongoing 5-year technology refresh cycle, 3,000 Chromebooks are sought to replace 20% of our fleet. An RFP was posted and 11 vendors responded. Again, Dell met the terms of the RFP. They've done similar business with the district satisfactorily in the past, and they are not adversely listed in the SAM.gov database. To accommodate any unexpected growth or school requests between now and the start of school, we're also requesting authorization to use this RFP to purchase any additional Chromebooks needed between now and June 30th, 2025, subject to normal board reporting and authorization guidelines. The impact is $1,130,220 from ITS Splosh Technology Refresh Funds for the 3,000 unit purchase, and various other budgets at $376.74 per unit for any additional purchases that may arise. The superintendent recommends awarding the purchase of Dell Chromebooks from low bid respondent Dell of Round Rock, Texas, in the amount of $376.74 per unit, 3,000 units for a total of $1,130,220, and further authorization to use this RFP for any additional Chromebook purchases through June 30th, 2025, subject to normal board approval and reporting guidelines. And this is the other one we are asking you to vote on today. Thank you. And the last item that does not need a vote today, as part of our multi-year facilities refresh cycle, data cabling is required at our CFIF facility. An RFP was posted and 3 vendors responded. Tech Optics met the terms of the RFP. They've done similar business with the district before, and they are not adversely listed in the SAM.gov database. To accommodate any adds, moves, or changes that come up during the recabling process, we are also asking for an additional allowance of $10,000 above the bid response. So the total financial impact is $115,197.82 from ITS Splosh funds. The superintendent recommends awarding the contract for low-voltage data cabling for CFIT in the amount of $115,197.82 to low-bid respondent Tech Optics of Winder, Georgia.
All right.
Thank you.
So we will move items 1 and 2 to consent. 1 and 4 to consent, and then later tonight we'll vote on items 2 and 3.
Thank you very much. Dr. Thompson, real quick, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
On one of your informational items as I sat and thought through it. So on the transfer, the school choice transfer windows, so we're going to have schools receiving students. When will that cutoff be?
Cutoff is May 9th, is the last day of the 15-day window.
Okay, and so everything will be decided before then. So we could potentially expect for some staff moves as well if these are they done by our staff already at the schools? Because if we have a large influx,
it's based on the staff that were already allotted in terms of the difference between the average class size and the maximum class size. So we're putting slots out at schools that have slack between, if we put these 10 students at this grade, they would still be below the maximum class size. So we would not anticipate based on that we would need to add any staff because we're not opening up grade levels where we would get above the maximum class size. Like anything else, it's not always predictable what happens over the summer, and so you could see some changes based on enrollment, but that's true of every district in the state, and that's always been the case. But I don't anticipate we would based on this because we're only opening up slots where we actually have slack between the number of allotted teachers at those grade levels and the number of students.
perfect, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. All right, now it's time to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All right,
We got to vote.
all in favor?
All in favor?
All right, thank you.
And the book bags make them smile, and so it's an opportunity as a social worker for me to actually do something for them, as opposed to sometimes when I meet with families, it's not always a positive exchange. And so this is a positive exchange. It's a great way to start off the year on a fresh foot and an opportunity to just sort of give back to the community and to see them excited about a fresh new school year.
So the logistics for something like this is crazy. There's a lot of people, a lot of volunteers, and that's honestly the only way it works, is having people that are here to serve and to give in their time, their talent, and I mean, there's a ton of people here volunteering, and that's what it takes. It takes just a village to do this, to pull this off, and so we're so thankful for all our volunteers.
And we think we did over 200 bags.
Yes.
At least 200 bags that we were able to put together beyond that giant pile you've probably already seen. It was a great experience because I love seeing both people in wheelchairs and kids.
And small children,
Who
yes.
could absolutely help fill all those backpacks. And they felt like they were helping and they were a part of the solution, which is awesome.
And they're very fulfilling and very united together.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Thank
again.
you, and good job to you. Thanks.
I'm Seneca Titshaw, and I'm a senior at Winder Barrow High School. I've played softball since I was 3 years old, and it's taught me a lot of life lessons, and I've met some of my best friends. Softball has taught me to never give up and persevere, and even through hard times, don't worry about it and just keep going. Coach Garrett, my law teacher, has had a big impact on me. He made me want to pursue my career in criminal justice, and someone that I can always count on outside of school. In senior year softball, I hit my first home run against Appalachia. I scored the only run that game. And in basketball, I scored to secure the win, a three-point shot against Clark Central in overtime. I plan to attend the University of North Georgia to pursue a degree in criminal justice to become a game warden. I'm an honor graduate, and I will graduate with hope. I would give myself advice as a freshman to always take chances and don't be afraid to ask for help or meet new people.
From Dr. Kristen Michael, and he is recognizing you as September Community Member of the Month for all the behind-the-scenes things that you do.
So Joe knows who I am, but I'm Jennifer Wood, and I have the pleasure of being the CEO out here at Sims Academy, and I'm also the CTAE Director for Barrow County Schools. And I wanted to nominate Joe because he is a guy who doesn't want all the accolades, but he is a true supporter of Barrow County school system and Sims Academy. Joe's been around since the beginning of Sims Academy, so back in 2014 when this building opened, and he's been involved every year since then as a very active and chair of the board. I know Joe also serves as chair SGT for Holstenbeck Elementary School. I know you're a Rotarian, you serve as chair on so many other committees, workforce development, Benton Chamber, and so I think you're such an asset to the school system and to Barrow County community. And I just want to thank you for all of your support to me and to the school system and to Sims in the years that we've known each other, but even in the years prior to me coming into this role. You really have such a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you're just always willing to lend a hand and to help out and to be a voice for, again, for our students and our community members in Barrow County.
Well, I thank you for that. It's very humbling. And I feel like it's really an honor for me in particular, not just to be recognized this way, but to be allowed to participate in what goes on around here. So let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Vogt. I work for Solvay, a chemical manufacturing company, who has a site here in Winder. I don't do any of this for recognition. And in fact, many times when I sit and contemplate the things that I do, I'm not sure that I actually do anything. I go to a lot of meetings, right? Jennifer made comment of the fact that my experience is pretty deep, and it is. In manufacturing, that's everything I've ever done since I walked out of college. As I said, I go to a lot of different meetings. I'm involved with a lot of different people. And when you take the time to do that, you have the opportunity to connect a lot of dots in this community that other people might not be able to do. And I've tried my best to connect those dots to the benefit of the community. And I think that after 20 years, it's starting to be an opportunity here to do that. So I finally realized that it wasn't necessarily the case that I needed to make things happen all the time. What I needed to do is put the right people in the same place and let them hear all the same things that I was hearing. And that has really been, if there's any contribution I can point to, that would be it. I think a lot more people in this community are educated about workforce development. They're a lot more knowledgeable about the advances that Barrow County school system has made over the past 20 years. And you know, if I get the right people sitting in the right room and get a chance to talk about that, I do.
And thank you. Yeah.
My name is Jordy Bohannon. I'm an English teacher at Appalachia High School. I've been working here for 7 years. I teach AP language to 11th graders and reading support to 9th graders. I'm also the student council sponsor, assistant girls basketball coach, co-sponsor of the International Travel Club, and the academic coach for the football team. Well, on a daily basis, I typically wake up around 6:30, leave the house at 7:15 in order to be at work by 8. Throughout the day, we have 4 an hour and a half long blocks, 3 for instruction and 1 for planning. After school, I typically am out the door by 5. Obviously, during basketball season, that time becomes any time between 6 p.m., 10 p.m., often later. So with our 8 to 4 workday, I'm usually here at least 1 extra hour and often a few more after that. I really enjoy teaching high school because I think students are at this really interesting moment in life where they are still kids, but they're preparing for what's going to come next, whether they're going to enter the workforce or go on to college or even join the military. So they're at this really transitional phase where I think you can have a huge impact. When it comes to building relationships with students, I think that care and respect is just like the ultimate cornerstone of that. You have to show them love and care and respect in order to get that in return. In order for them to trust you. And I think trust is a huge component. One thing that I want people outside of the profession of education to understand about teaching is that teachers are experts in both their content area and the science of pedagogy. I think a lot of people assume that because they went to school, they understand what teachers do. But what you see from a student perspective is so little of the whole picture. So a lot of my lesson planning happens during my planning block each day, but I also have a 45-minute lunch duty during that time as well. And this is one of the spaces where our professional learning communities are really helpful because we're able to meet as a group on a content area team and really get a lot of that work done together through that collaboration or split that work up. And so I think the biggest challenge with planning is asking ourselves, where do we need our students to go? What do we need them to know, do, and understand? And then the plans become like how we get them there from where they are right now. It's tricky because those plans are always changing. They have to be flexible and they have to be reflexive and they have to move, which is what makes it difficult because it's something you have to work on every day rather than at the beginning of the unit or at the end of a unit in order to revise for next year. The first thing teachers have to do is be willing to decenter their own experiences and themselves in order to prioritize the experiences of their students. I think successful teachers have to believe that all people can and also want to do well both in the classroom and in life at large. And then on a more literal level, oh gosh, there's planning and instruction and collaborating with our peers and analyzing data and building relationships and, hearing about heartbreaks and giving advice and, oh wow, it's just so all of the above.
My name is Corinne Mathis, and I'm a senior at Appalachia High School. I grew up in, of course, Barrow County, and I've been here all 18 years of my life. Growing up, I was really surrounded by family, and that's really all I know is my family. They taught me how to be the strong person that I am today and the strong speaker that I am now. I was heavily involved in church and outgoing programs. So when I got into high school, I was really prepared and joining all the clubs that I can and getting super involved with my community, because that's how I was raised. Skills USA shaped me into being a great person and a great leader for my community. I know a lot of people say that Skills USA helps them make friends or figure out their occupation for the future. But for me, Skills USA has just become a lot more than that. With Skills USA, I've learned to speak up and explain myself in better ways than I ever could before. It made me realize that there are people here to help me and help me understand my future and what I want to do. And it also did help me make friends. My teacher that has made an outlasting impression on me is Ms. Pugh. She was I first met her my freshman year as my criminal justice teacher. And honestly, I didn't like her at first because she was really strict and didn't really put up with a lot. But over the years, I've learned to love her. She's learned to put up with me. And she also introduced me to Skills USA, which has become one of the best things that I ever could have got involved in. And so honestly, I couldn't thank her enough for being the woman that she is. And I hope to have her in my life for a long time. I think that I'm really proud of all of the accomplishments I've done. Obviously, the expected answer would be me becoming state officer for Skills USA because that is a big accomplishment and it takes a lot of work to become that. But honestly, from the small things such as me doing community service or me earning an internship at our local library, it's the little things that make me the person I am today, along with the big things. After I graduate, I plan to attend North Carolina A&T, which is obviously based in North Carolina, to pursue my career in psychology. I honestly want to just do something that is a community service-based occupation. So whether that's doing social work or me becoming a counselor at a school or me just owning something that could help the community would be really great, but the main focus right now is clinical psychology. One piece of advice I would give myself as a freshman is to slow down and enjoy the little things in life. I really learned to enjoy going to football games and basketball games and stuff like that over the years, but I know when I was starting at Appalachia, I was really prepared to just take off running and join every single club or organization that was offered to me, but I didn't stop and go to the little games and do the little things that I really would have appreciated now.
There was a little episode that happened with you here recently, wasn't it? Huh? What happened on October 17th? In the afternoon, I think, wasn't it? At night? What happened? His house caught on fire. Did y'all know that? No. You do now? Yeah. Listen to how important, this is important stuff now. We're in the middle of fire prevention, we're coming up on the end of Fire Prevention Month. We've probably been out here with fire trucks for third graders. And so you've probably seen us, and you've probably gone through a fire safety educational moment during your school time, I'm sure. If you're not, you will. Yeah, so we try to hit all the third graders and teach them a little something about fire safety. He paid attention. He knew what he was supposed to do. And all these people over here are here to congratulate him on a good job of what he did that day. He alerted everybody in the house and got everybody out of the house. Nobody got hurt. It's important stuff. It's very important stuff to be able to do. He knew exactly what to do. And did you? Everybody got out? Yeah. You were in Oconee County? So we have representatives from Oconee County, Barrow County, and Athens, Clark County here because we all touch some part of being fire safe. Okay? We're good with that? Yes, sir. So what we're going to do is recognize Bentley and his brother. His brother. Come over here. Ain't no big old topper. Were you part of this? You were? Everybody got out? Everybody got safe? The firefighters came over and put that fire out pretty quick? Everybody did a good job. Okay. So what I want to do is, there's a couple of things we want Bentley to get a hold of right quick. Lieutenant, bring me some things up here. So what we did, we got Bentley a fire helmet just in case he might need it again. Try those. Well, let me. Now, get a picture of that. All right. Everybody get it?
That's awesome.
You got this.
That's awesome.
So, I have one more thing I want to give you though. And I don't hand these out much, but I do hand them out occasionally. And you can probably ask some of my fire guys over there if they get them all the time, they'll tell you no. So what I have here is what we call an above and beyond coin that says that you went above and beyond the job of what you were supposed to do. And on the back of it, St. Florence was protector of all firefighters. So there you go, it's a big pot. Good enough? You might have a seat and call somebody else at the top. All right, next, I'll tell y'all how important this is. I'm going to call up next the mayor of Auburn, Linda Blankenshire, to come up and say a few words to you guys, okay? Mayor?
Hey everybody, what a great time this is to come and to say congratulations to somebody that you go to school with that did something really heroic.
It's not my best friend.
I know.
It's actually my best friend.
And your brother too. So I was thinking about how I would feel if I was in my house and the house caught on fire. I'd feel really scared, right? I think each one of us would say that. You may have felt a little bit scared when you were in the house, but being brave means doing the right thing, even though you're scared, because everybody feels that nervousness and feel scared when something is going on that's big like that. So, Finley, I just want to say congratulations. You are a hero in my book. And I hope that you remember all of your life for your future, that even though you may feel scared, just like you did at that day when your house caught on fire, or your grandparents' house caught on fire, you still did what you were trained to do. And that's really, really what makes a hero. So congratulations, buddy.
All right, I got somebody else I need to come up here. He's the commissioner of this district, Commissioner Alex Ward from the Bear County Commission. Commissioner Ward.
Good morning, guys. A lot of what Mayor Blankenshire said is absolutely right. You know, I would feel the same way if my house caught on fire. I would feel scared. And I can tell you, I know professionals who train and train and train, but sometimes forget their training when it's an actual emergency and in the heat of the moment. So Bentley, the fact that you are able to remember exactly what to do right in that moment, in that emergency, says a lot about you and a lot about your character. And so I'm really proud of what you've done. Proud that you're able to get everybody out of your house. You are, as Mayor Fletcher said, a hero in my book as well. You and your brother, congratulations on what you did. I hope everybody else remembers this lesson and remembers that, hey, it's important to constantly practice so that way when a real emergency hits, you know exactly what to do. Great job, Brett.
Famous, getting there. I'd like to call up the chiefs from Oconee County. Come up here, guys. I think they have some swag for you.
So we would like to just say thank you, and Cliff has brought some little goodies. You mind coming back up just a moment?
We got something for you. We also have something for family. Yeah, I'm getting a little small. So we got to think of what can we bring, and people always love our t-shirts. We got t-shirts for y'all, and these are our patches that we wear for y'all. And because the family did such a great job in their part in all this, which is also very key, we brought y'all some smoke alarms for y'all's house. We didn't good job, guys. That's it? Yes, sir. Yeah.
He gave it to me.
Mom, they were all in your house, weren't they? They all got up.
Yes.
They all learned.
Yes.
They did everything they were supposed to do.
Yes, they did.
That's a win. So we did the right thing. Mom, you did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. Come on. This is Lieutenant, this is Lieutenant Gomes with Barry County Fire Marshal Office.
You can't forget me, just like his last name, it's like Chewy, Bubble, all that. Now you know, right? So I'm education, prevention for Barrow County, and I wanted to have Bentley. We're gonna make you also the honorary fire marshal of your house and dad's house, mom and dad. Everywhere you go, you're the fire marshal, right? So you gotta check, make sure everybody has what in the house. That's right. And we're gonna show everybody how to test them. Do you know how to test them? Well, you can learn all that. I'll teach you. We'll teach you. Me and Emily, we do that. We'll come out here, we'll talk to you about testing the fire alarms. And you get them out, your home escape plan. If you get outside, if everybody gets outside the house, you go back in for anything? No. No. Who goes back in and gets whatever you're... That's right. All you guys out here, you let them go back in, right? Thank you to them for doing what you did.
These lessons right here go through a lot of training to be able to train you about how to do fire safety, and they did a great job. And I appreciate the hard work that they do day in and day out, and salute them too. Okay, so give them a big applause. All right, this wraps up this award ceremony. I thank you for being here. Thank you for clapping. And thank you, Bentley, for doing what you did. Y'all did a great job. All right? Thank you.
Okay, Scott, this is a gift from Dr. Chris McMichael. He is excited to recognize you as October Community Member of the Month. Ms. Pugh nominated you, and we're thrilled that you will let us celebrate some of the great things you do in this community.
So I guess y'all know my name is Captain Dakin. I actually enjoy the interactions with the kids. I pick on them, they pick on me, and it's a lot of fun. But I love the way they ask questions. I've had some really good questions out of these students, and I think I make a difference in trying to help them to realize that there's lots of opportunities out there. I encourage them to work hard to get to where they want to be.
He's been a guest speaker in our classes for around 17 years, we believe.
Yeah.
And he was had such an impact on students that they kept asking for him to come back. And so he actually comes and speaks on different topics for all 4 levels of our classes. I had 2 former students, and their house caught on fire several years ago, and they said that they remembered what to do based on him being in our classrooms.
It was a little over 29 years ago. I was setting up a polling booth at the Auburn Fire Station, and one of the guys said, "Why don't you come down Tuesday night and see what it's like?" And ever since then, I've been a firefighter. And that led me into EMS, and eventually I gave up a position that I had managing a corporation to become a full-time firefighter. Well, we are finally at the point in this world where we're talking about mental health inside of public safety. I actually teach courses. I teach them around actually all over the world now. But stress management is key in being able to, I push it because I have been diagnosed with PTSD. I push the stress management stuff very hard on my folks. And one of the things I tell them is it's not just when it happens. You've got to be open to talk all the time. You create that culture. And we have created a culture inside of Barrow County is so far ahead of the game on that we've created a culture where you get to talk mental health. We can recommend you to a counselor if you need it, and there's no shame in that. Because what we see, what we do, and just life in general, sometimes you just need a little help with this.
So my name is Elena Lee, and I'm with Northeast Georgia Medical Center, which leads Safe Kids Northeast Georgia. Today, this is our booster seat program. So this program is designed to educate the whole household on booster safety. We start with the children at the elementary school, where we host an educational assembly. And then after we host the assembly, we measure each child to make sure that they qualify for a free booster seat. And then today's event is when the parent comes to pick up that free booster seat. So we've already educated the child, and now we're educating the parent, therefore the whole household. Safety is number one. Child passenger safety is our biggest safety area. Unfortunately, we see that's the highest area of injury among children in our region. So we're putting heavy emphasis on safety and utilizing these booster seats that we're providing them with. So Safe Kids Northeast Georgia is funded by our annual marketplace event. It's a holiday shopping event that's hosted by the Medical Center and presented by Willis Investment Council. And you can help out what we do here at Safe Kids by attending that marketplace event. It's located in Gainesville, Georgia, November 3rd through 5th.
So my name is Virginia Fullwood. I'm with the Georgia Ag Experience from the Georgia Foundation for Agriculture.
My name's Ashley Lowry, and I'm with Farm Bureau, Barrow County, and I'm the office manager.
I'm Elizabeth Shirley, and I'm with Barrow County Farm Bureau, and I'm the agent secretary.
And this is the Georgia Ag Experience. It is a experience focused around agriculture. We travel around the state of Georgia. During the school year, we predominantly teach at public and private schools all over the state. We're trying to show them the effects that agriculture have on their everyday life. Another great feature about this is people view agricultural careers as someone standing on a farm with a pitchfork and overalls, and in reality, there's numerous fields in agriculture. There's technological fields, biology, engineering, mechanics. So this also exposes them to the ever-growing need that agriculture has for future careers. I would also like to say that agriculture is Georgia's #1 industry. We make more money in the state of Georgia off of agriculture than anything else. So what that means is future opportunities for these kids, and it's important to share agriculture with them so they know what opportunities they have.
I think a lot of the kids too were just saying, oh, it's just a farmer, or just, you know, and so getting to see that, like, oh no, you can do sales in agriculture, you can do, you can be a farmer, you can be a rancher, you can, you know, you can use technology. They thought that was the coolest thing, and so realizing like that it's not just in the past, you can do now too, you know.
Hi, my name is Zahara Jones, and I'm a senior at Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy. I chose to come to BASA because I saw that it is a school that heavily focuses on your pathways, and my pathway that I'm very passionate about is theater. So when I saw that they had a really cool theater program, I was like, this is the place for me. And when I did come here, their theater program is excellent. From the get-go, Ms. Padasol had so many excellent courses, classes, and performance opportunities that I was very excited to join. So currently I am in 2 sports, volleyball and soccer, and those sports have impacted me so heavily. They have given me 2 amazing communities that both love the sport just as much as I do. And so for volleyball, I have an amazing community, and I love, love, love going to practice. I love all of my girls, and we all love to work hard together. We've also done a lot of team bonding together. So when I go to school every day, I know I have people I can go to, talk to, and people that all love the same sport. And that goes the same for soccer. And every day, being in those sports makes me more passionate. It makes me want to keep practicing, and getting better. And it helps me set a lot of goals. Some of my most memorable experiences at BASA has actually been the trips that I've gone on. 2 of these trips that I've gone on have been with BASA's feeder program, and I love them so much. The first one is Georgia ThesCon, which is an event where a bunch of feeder students, all thespians, get to go and watch mini shows and do mini workshops and just learn a lot about acting on stage and on screen, learning about technical elements and so many behind the scenes of theater, and I really love going. I've gone for 3 years, and not only have I learned so much and seen so much, but it makes me just as passionate as theater as I continue to learn and grow. And then also another trip that we have recently gone on was to New York. And it was so exciting because we got to see 3 Broadway shows, Hadestown, Six, and Sweeney Todd, and they were so good, and it was so exciting. And then we also got to do a workshop with a member of Hadestown and then some of their music directors, and we got to learn a dance and then the song chant. And we got to tour New York and see so much, and seeing so much of New York and like the passion of people who are learning to become actors in the professional scene, it really motivates me to keep going. All right, I have 2 really big role models at this school, which is Ms. Padasol and Ms. Barnes. Ms. Padasol, she's the first theater teacher that I met the first year, and she's taught me so much about myself as an actor, because first coming in, I was nervous. I was like, am I going to be able to get good at this? There's so many people with experience, but she's been patient with me. She's taught me so much, and she's always kept encouraging me to do my best and to keep learning and keep trying. And through that, I think I've improved a lot, and I really feel more confident in my acting. And then same with Ms. Barnes. She encourages us, she keeps us going, she keeps us pumped, and they both provide so many amazing opportunities for us to learn and perform, and I absolutely love it. And I've learned and grown so much from that. And doing that has also helped me grow as a person myself, and my confidence and my ability to perform. So for my future plans, I plan to attend Brenau University, and I want to major in theater with the Gainesville Theater Alliance, and then I want to have a minor in psychology. And for my goals past college, I would like to become an actor, so I plan on getting an agent and auditioning. And then my long-term goal is to become a reoccurring role in either a movies or a series, on film or on stage. One of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of is I used to be the community service coordinator for our BASA Drama Club, and one of my projects was that I had a few of our thespians perform Sarah Saves Christmas for the Mulberry Grove Senior Home Living. And it was so sweet, they looked so touched, and all of our cast members did amazing and really touched their hearts. And that just made me so proud to be able to coordinate that and get everything planned, because it was just a really good Christmas for everyone. And then another accomplishment I'm really proud of is back in art class when we worked with the Wimberley Center, I helped with an installment to show Miss Wimberley's passion for sewing. I made little sewing tutorial pamphlets that went along in the installment. One piece of advice I would give myself as a freshman is to join more clubs, because BASA has so many clubs and so many things I would love to do and join, but because I kept myself so busy, I didn't allow myself to explore as many clubs that there were at BASA. I should have participated more in them before I even got here to graduation. So also my advice to future freshmen is to check out a lot of those clubs, because there's so many things that you may be passionate about that is here at BASA. BASA is a place where you truly can be yourself, and I'd say my advice overall is when you come, don't be scared to be yourself, and don't be scared to go after the things you're passionate about, because everyone here is here to support you through that. Woo!
Hey everybody, have you ever seen this book?
Pete the Cat.
It's a Pete the Cat book, right. Here, I'm going to sit down here with you. So this is about going to the library. Who's ever been to the library?
Me.
Pete's mom is taking him to the library for the first time. The librarian gives Pete his very own library card. Cool, says Pete. The librarian smiles. Time for the tour. And this is Pete's mom. Has anybody ever seen Pete's mom before? Not me. Pete's mom was in the second Pete the Cat book about going to school. It's called Rockin' in My School Shoes. And that was the first time you saw Pete's mom. The librarian takes Pete through the library. There is a big desk where people wait to check out books. Pete sees some of his friends reading at a long table. It's very peaceful and quiet. How relaxing. Who is this cat right here, this one? Does anybody know who that is? Who is that? Thank you. Pete has a brother, right?
Yeah.
And this is Pete's brother Bob, and Bob has green eyes, and he's black and white. I have a black and white cat like this now, but it's a girl, and her name is Abby. And Abby was not happy when I left this morning. The librarian takes Pete to her favorite room. There are lots of Pete-sized chairs and tables and shelves. There are books of every shape, size, and color. So who knows who this is? Does anybody know who that is?
A frog.
Right, what's his name?
Grumpy.
Who said Grumpy? Yay, yes, it's Grumpy. And this is Owl. And who is this?
Squirrel.
Squirrel, right. And does anybody know who this girl is? Callie.
Callie.
You know Callie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's friend Callie. And this is a platypus named Gus. Can you remember that? That's Gus. What do I do now, Pete asked. Now you read a book, the librarian says. Which book should I read? Asked Pete. You can read any book you like, says the librarian. Pete looks around. There are so many books. Pete picks up a book all about airplanes and jets. Who likes airplanes and jets?
I like it.
Your brother does?
Yeah.
He reads it and pretends he is a stunt pilot. He flies a super fast jet and does loop-the-loops and spirals high in the sky. Pete finds a book with dragons, wizards, and unicorns on the cover. He reads it and imagines that he is a powerful wizard using magic spells and a special wand to defend his castle against a fire-breathing dragon. So, what is a unicorn? What is it?
It's a horse.
A horse with what?
A horn.
A horn. Thank you. Very good. Next, Pete opens a book about spiders and insects. Ooh, spiders.
I love spiders.
He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist studying all types of critters in the wild. He has to be very still to study some of the critters. Who has seen a spider? Anybody? It's
I've seen lots.
You've seen lots?
I've seen lots.
Around Halloween, you saw 2 spiders in your house? And what about butterflies? Who knows butterflies? Then Pete chooses a book with all sorts of scary monsters on the cover. It is a book of fairy tales. Pete reads it and pretends that he is in a dark, spooky forest trying to outsmart a big bad wolf. Ooh, look at that wolf. That's a scary one. I drew that picture. Pete puts that book back on the shelf. It is too scary. Pete opens a book about the pyramids. I love the pyramids. Do you know what the pyramids are? He reads it and pretends he is an explorer riding a, what is that? Camel across the desert, right. And climbing to the top of a giant, what is that? Pyramid. Who said that? Awesome. Awesome. And okay, here's a hard question. Who is that? A lion. They call it the Sphinx. You think you can remember that? Yeah. Oh, let me show you something while I'm thinking about it. Who knows who this is? Does anybody know who this is? What's her name? This is Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. You think you can remember that? That's Mona Lisa. This is the most famous painting in the whole world. So memorize it. Have you memorized it? Because guess what? You're going to see this again. Okay? All right, that was your art lesson for today. Next, Pete picks a book with all sorts of, what is that? Robots. Who likes robots? He reads it and imagines that he is a robot at a robot dance party. And Pete is dancing with a white cat with blue eyes. And what's her name? Callie. That's right. His arms and legs make whizzing sounds when he moves. When Robot Pete speaks, he says, what do robots say? Next, Pete picks up a book about superheroes. Who likes superheroes? Me too. I like Batman. Do you like Batman?
I like Spider-Man.
You like Spider-Man? He reads it and makes believe that he is a superhero. He flies around the city in a colorful cape, chasing bad guys and saving the day. Then Pete spots a book about, what is that? A submarine, yes. He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist in a submarine deep in the Atlantic Ocean looking for, what is that?
A whale.
A whale, and what is that? A fuzz? Oh my goodness. Do you know what this green thing is? Who, what? What is it? Somebody said it, jellyfish? Jellyfish? What is that? What is that? Dolphin. I love kids. There are many wonderful books to read at the library. Pete can be whatever he imagines with a book. Reading is super groovy. The end.
Dr. Cummins, this is a gift for you from our school system to show our appreciation for all that you do at Kennedy Elementary School as a mentor. You have been nominated as Community Member of the Month, and we are just so appreciative of all that you do.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor.
Hi, my name is Barbie Culp, and I am the Mentor Coordinator for Barrow County Schools.
I'm Amanda McClenny. I'm the full-time counselor at Kennedy Elementary.
And my name is Tim Cummins. I'm a chiropractor and a mentor here through Barrow County Schools. I have an office in Bethlehem called Infinity Wellness Center, where we just try to help people live healthier lives.
I'm seeing a big impact on the students, and I know, like I've talked to Dr. Tim about, it may not look immediately like it's making an impact because some of these kids have a lot that they are working on daily. It's not going to be an overnight change. But you can see a huge difference in these children whenever they have that consistent mentor. It was adorable at the beginning of this year because, like Dr. Tim said, he got started with his mentor last spring. And at the beginning of the year, before we could get everything going, the students finding me in the hallway and going, "Where's my doctor? Where's my doctor?" Like ready to start back. And this is not a student that gets attached to people very easily. But you can tell he's very much attached to Dr. Tim. He wants to do well by him. He cares what he thinks. He wants to do better for him. So even though it's hard to see it on a overnight basis, it's making a big difference, him working with him.
What it comes down to is, it's like I like to just try to have impact on whatever it is I'm doing. So whether it's I'm working with my patients, trying to help them get through struggles and get healthier or whatever, but it's like how to have an impact. It's really to just, you just have to take the step and do it. There's the reward and again, like I was, saying goodbye to him today, and it's like, we said goodbye, and then as I'm walking in, I hear him say, "Dr. Tim, bye, we'll see you next week." And it's like, he was walking around the corner and he needed, and so that's just, it makes you feel like you're, again, having an impact with him because you've created this bond. And, and when it's all said and done, if the time that I'm spending with him helps him in any way to become successful or to move that along so that he's not only just successful in school, but really successful in life, because that's ultimately what school's designed to do, is to teach you how to succeed in life. And so to be able to have that impact on somebody, it's a time commitment, sure, but it's so worth it. It's like there's times like, there was a time when he had missed a Friday and then I was out of town the next Friday, so we went 2 weeks, and then it's like he came in and he was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's been, it seems like forever since we've been together." And so like understanding again what type of impact that's having, it's just, you just got to take the step to do it really. And then once you do it, I feel, you're never going to go home and say like, "Man, I'm so disappointed," or whatever, "I'm upset that I went and spent and had this time with this kid." Nobody's ever going to say that. You're going to look at the benefits that you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, when I was Dr. Tim's patient at Infinity Wellness Center, I could see there, the fact that he has family working there with him, the fact that it was such a place of the community becoming family there. And him, you could tell he wanted to give back to that community and make a difference, that it was a huge draw to an automatic, let's get him in here to to mentor. And that's what we need. We need those people who are passionate about the community to give back to these kids, our future leaders, and then people who are passionate about making strong future leaders to come help, for sure.
This month, by coincidence again, is National Mentoring Month. And so we're just thrilled that Dr. Tim got chosen as the Community Member of the Month this month, so we could celebrate mentoring and also make an appeal to the community. Every school could use more mentors, and so we're just thrilled. We're so thankful for you. We're so thankful for what you do for the community in your business, but especially here at Kennedy Elementary and for that student. Thank you so much.
So I wanted to give you this on behalf of Dr. McMichael for being recognized as November's Community Member of the Month, and we just appreciate all that you do for the school system, for students, and your caring attitude and everything that you were nominated.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank
That's so
you.
sweet. I'm Rebecca Heiner. I'm the System of Care Coordinator for Advantage Behavioral Health. I'm a System of Care Coordinator. I cover all 10 of our counties that our Advantage covers. We're a community service board. So my role is to kind of step in and help fill the gaps with youth and families. I work with ages 5 to 26 and their families. And with Barrow County School System, just having the opportunity to collaborate with Jeanette and other school social workers and school staff to assist with high acuity, high risk kiddos, and kind of stepping in to help the families through transitions to where otherwise they may kind of get lost in the mix of things, or just essentially providing that extra layer of family support to make sure that the kiddos and family can reach stability and reach their goals ultimately.
So Rebecca is our go-to person specifically with Advantage Behavioral Health Systems. She always answers our call, is quick to answer our emails from anything where if we've got a high risk or vulnerable family or student that might need mental health services, need help, navigating homeless services, or even extra support for autism.
For helping with BCSS schools, a lot of it has been working with Jeanette and others on staff with meeting basic needs for families and kiddos with homelessness, a lot with IDD kiddos and families, autistic services, and kind of working with the school system to make sure that the kiddos are getting their needs met in the school system with IEP, BIP plans, any kind of transition of care, just kind of filling in the gap with, if a kiddo has been discharged from the hospital or may need a higher level of care, or just kind of being that family advocacy to kind of be present to make sure that the youth and the families are having the opportunity to be heard and that everyone can kind of be on the same page to provide the best care possible.
Rebecca is one of our representatives on our LIPT team, which is our local interagency planning team, as well as she attends some of our community-based risk reduction meetings, which really allows us to kind of talk about what services Advantage does have, how they can possibly help with our students that we bring to those team meetings. But in addition, if I've got a family and I'm just stuck and I don't know, where else to send them, or I know that Advantage could help, but I'm not sure how, she's one phone call away.
I think the school system goes above and beyond for their own staff and employees, but also for the youth and the families, and just being able to have that partnership and that relationship with them to make sure that if there's a need that Advantage can meet, or a need or a resource that I'm aware about in the community that I can connect them to, that I'm able to assist and offer that support. I don't love being in the spotlight, so that part about it is, it is what it is. But it makes me feel very valued. I pride myself on working really hard to have good community partnerships and connections. Everyone at Barrow County School System is always one phone call away, very available, very willing to have conversations and collaborate at the end of the day to do what is ever is best for the kiddos and the families, and just being able to be a part of that is something that I highly value.
My name is Miss Perry, and I am a pre-K teacher at Holstenbeck Elementary School. And I have been a pre-K teacher for 4 years here at Holstenbeck, and I've been actually at Holstenbeck for 16 years. Barrow County Schools pre-K program helps students be prepared for kindergarten by giving them lots of hands-on experience We do a lot of pre-reading skills. We talk about letters, letter sounds, differentiating sounds, rhyming words. We also read a lot of stories, work on comprehension where students are learning to be active listeners and to explore ideas that are in stories. Children are able to gain number sense, begin gaining some number sense through counting, numeral recognition, shapes, things like that. We also do a lot of pre-writing skills. We work on a lot of fine motor development, strengthening their hands, which prepares them for writing stamina in kindergarten. We also do a lot of questioning, talking, listening, which is a pre-writing skill, a very important one actually. Before students are able to express themselves in writing, they must be able to express themselves verbally. So that is another way that we prepare them. Our pre-K school day is very busy, and it is also very developmentally appropriate. We do a lot of music, movement. A lot of our learning is done through music and movement. We have large group activities, small group activities with teachers. There's a time in the day where kids are allowed to have free exploration time, where they self-select various hands-on center activities. We have playground time, which is just complete free play outside. We have access to our gym, especially on rainy days, and we do get to experience eating in the cafeteria. At the end of our day, we have at least a short period where we have a rest time. I would say being in the elementary school setting helps prepare students to be HES students. They become familiar with the procedures, the rules, the routines of our school. They also are able to learn a lot about being in a classroom environment. Also, the Barrow County Pre-K curriculum includes a very strong and meaningful social-emotional curriculum where kids are explicitly taught how to advocate for themselves appropriately, how to get along with other students in a classroom, and basically how to participate in classroom life. And if you are considering entering your child into the Barrow County School Pre-K program, please visit the Barrow County website.
My name is Katie Toccato. I am a Georgia Pre-K teacher at Bethlehem Elementary. This is my 14th year teaching Georgia Pre-K and my 5th year here at BES. So I think Barrow County Pre-K really does prepare children for kindergarten, but also just overall student success. It really does lay the foundation for success for kids in school. Students get to explore, they get to learn, and they get to apply all the knowledge that they've learned in class. We get to learn important literacy skills like identifying letters, letter sounds, how to hold a book correctly, how to answer questions, lots of math concepts like counting, identifying numbers, patterns, sorting, and they really get to learn a lot about their social-emotional skills. Students get to learn how to share, how to work as a team, and just have those positive interactions with their peers and other adults. So we do lots of fun and engaging activities all throughout our pre-K day. We have morning meeting every morning where students get to share something special maybe they did that morning, maybe what they had for breakfast. We have all kinds of music and movement that we do throughout the day where kids get to sing and dance and really let out that energy that they have. We have phonological awareness time where students get to learn their basic reading skills. We have small group instruction where we break students up into groups based on maybe certain concepts that we might be learning in the classroom, and those are all teacher planned and they're really engaging and fun for the kids. We have center play every day, which is always a kid favorite. Students get to learn through play. They get to learn how to socialize with one another, how to take turns, and they really get to use their imagination and be creative. And then, of course, we have recess, which is always the one they look the most forward to. We have awesome playgrounds at all of our schools. Even here at BES, we have 2 awesome playgrounds that the kids get to play on. So our day is busy, but it's fun, and the kids really do get to make the most out of their learning throughout the day. So I think that having a child here at Bethlehem or any Barrow County school is a huge benefit. They really get to learn and explore their school before they even get to kindergarten, which is the huge asset and a huge part of where they get to come in and they get to be familiar with the building, administration, they get to meet other teachers, they get to learn the school-wide expectations, like how to hold your tray the right way, how to walk in the hallway, all those kinds of things. And it's just a real bonus for them. And it makes them feel more comfortable and learn how to be responsible and just gain a little bit more independence. If you're thinking about applying, visit our website today.
I'm Leisha Hutchinson, and I am the digital coach and a 8th grade science teacher, as well as the honors advanced science teacher for 8th grade. And I've been at Heyman Morris for about 7 years, or 6 going on 7 years. And before that, I was at North Paulding High School for 3 years. So I have taught a range of sciences. Here at Heyman Morris, I've been 8th grade physical science and the 9th grade physical science the whole time. When I was at the high school, I taught physical science as well as chemistry and environmental science and earth systems, with chemistry being my main focus while I was at the high school setting. It's really hard for me to give one piece of advice. I think it takes a very special person to not only teach, but to basically survive teaching and do well and want to keep teaching. That's a big part of it. And I think that all comes back to having an open mind, being willing to try new things and adapt and evolve. And, you know, every day is going to be a different challenge, and sometimes those challenges surprise you. So you got to be ready to try something new just on the spot. But also the thing that keeps me in teaching is the students themselves. So if you don't have a relationship with your students, you're not going to be happy. And so those relationships have been very important to me just in my own personal life as well as teaching. And you take those students home with you, and they're students that definitely remind you why you do what you do. Sometimes it's hard, just as a human anywhere, to understand that we're all coming from a point of good, right? We all want what's best. We're all trying, and we all have the best intentions. And just that level of trust that, like, no, we want what's best, and we're going to try to do what's right for the student and for each other, which is sometimes hard, right? You want to see the good in people, and sometimes that can be a challenge. But I think as long as you're holding on to those relationships with those students and with your colleagues and stuff like that, it gets a little easier. It's like a choice, right? You wake up and you're like, I'm gonna not focus on the bad parts, right? I'm gonna focus on what worked really well today. I'm gonna focus on the things that were positive about today.
My name's Georgia Reinhardt, and I'm a senior at the Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy. So I chose to come to BASA because when I first moved here, it had just opened, and I really loved the idea of it being a magnet school and giving students the opportunity to dive deeper into what they wanted to do. And I really wanted to go into chorus and theater, and so the idea of having longer classes that went below surface level was really cool to me, and I really wanted to take that opportunity. Some of my most memorable experiences at BASA have been all the theater productions. Those have been really fun, but especially all of my English classes because I love language arts and I love reading. And my very first class here with Mr. Clark was multicultural lit, and we read Lord of the Flies, and that was really fun because we'd have debates about all the characters, and it's just one of my most memorable classes, and I'll always remember it. So there are 3 teachers at BASA that have had a lasting impression on me. First one is Miss Mitchell, my chorus teacher. Coming here, I was really nervous about my chorus abilities, and she's always been there to support me and help me find my potential, and I'm really grateful for that. The second teacher is Miss Barnes, my theater teacher. She's just really fun all around, and it was also, like, I had stage fright and it was really bad, but I wanted to perform, and she helped me find the potential in myself and the confidence, and also helped me to discover that I wanted to be a theater teacher myself. And then the last third teacher is Miss Carrie Weiss, my American Sign Language teacher. And she's just a very loving individual, and she really cares for every single student that comes into her room. And I love her. She's like a second mom to me. You can really see the passion when she teaches about the deaf community, and that's really inspiring to me. So my future plans after BASA, I'm going to be going to Columbus State University to study theater education. And then after I finish my freshman year there, I plan to go on a church mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is a service mission for about 18 months where you teach others about the gospel and become closer with God yourself, as well as teaching others about Him, and I'm really excited to do that. One of the biggest accomplishments that I have done at BASA that I'm really proud of is getting the lead in Mamma Mia. Growing up, I never would have imagined that I could go on stage and sing in front of people. It just wasn't something I did. I couldn't speak up in class. It was terrifying. But Donna, the character, was one that I really wanted, and despite being really scared, I went for it and I got it. And it was such a life-changing experience because I really got to find the confidence in myself and see others have that in me, and to be able to bring my dreams of performing to a reality. And it was just fun because I got to become close to so many other people and really get to share that love I had with the community. So I'm very proud that I was able to do that. One piece of advice that I would give myself as a freshman is to just be yourself. I was really scared because I used to be homeschooled my whole life, so coming into public school as a sophomore, I was really scared of what would others think of me or being accepted. And so it took a while for me to really be myself. And so it was hard to find friends for a while because, you know, they didn't know who I truly was. So when I started to just be myself and not be sorry for it, that's when I found my true friends and the people who have been there for me. And so I would just tell myself that it's okay to be you, and you're gonna find your true friends and true self and experiences by being true to yourself. And so I would tell it to all the other freshmen or sophomores, juniors, like, just be yourself and you will find the right people that way.
Hi, I'm Barbie Culp, and I am the mentor coordinator for Barrow County Schools.
I'm Rita Brookshire. I've taught in Barrow County Schools for 26.5 years, and I have recently retired, but I am trying to mentor again. Well, right now I am mentoring at County Line, and I have a little girl that's in 4th grade, and she's just a quiet, shy little thing. We mostly talk. I have asked her about academics and what her favorite subjects are and her hobbies. And she tells me about these things, but she always leads me back to, she just wants to talk. She doesn't necessarily want to do anything. Mm-hmm. Last year, I did have a child at Holsenbeck Elementary. And he was a kindergartner, and we would do different things together. We would go play something. You know, he liked magnets, so we would go play for about 30 minutes and talk. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I would read a story to him. The counselor asked me last year, maybe reading something to help with behavior. Mm-hmm. And we would talk about the character in the book and why this character should or shouldn't do something. And then sometimes we would just play, and he looked forward to me coming and just needed that time to himself. Time out of the classroom with that special someone, and nobody else got that. And I think he really thought that was pretty special. In the classroom, I was just shown that I really, you know, we really need mentors and more of them. We need somebody there for some of those children, because it seems like, especially the last few years, that I taught, there are more and more children, and as we had talked, more and more children that are lacking a wholesome family life with adults that are present all the time. And if these children can just have a few minutes of someone's time on a regular basis, that's really what they need.
If you have an extra 30 minutes a week, there's a student in Barrow County that needs you.
I'm Paul Thornton. I teach music technology, guitar, and piano at Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy. So music technology is basically music production, recording studio things. We do anything from composing music electronically, live recording in the studio. So in this lab we have 24 stations. Each station is equipped with a computer, a MIDI controller where they can do their editing and composing in this lab. Currently the lab is used for piano and guitar. I don't teach music technology in the spring, but in the fall I did. And then here we've got our recording studio. We're getting a new building here at BCSS, so in that building I'll have a full, proper recording studio. We have created a recording studio here in the Sims Academy. So I've got the studio here that's set up for podcasting. We have a few student groups that are doing some podcasting, so they do that in here. But this is also where my music technology does singing, guitar playing, drums, full band things. And then here's our control room right here, which is where the students listen to it, record, make adjustments and things like that. And then afterwards they'll go back and edit those for a final product. Planning is typically on the weekends for me. If we're talking specifics, I would say Sunday afternoon and Sunday night is when I am just doing research for whatever I want to present to them that week. This semester I teach a guitar class and piano class, so we're studying different guitar players, famous guitarists, same thing with piano. Right now we're going through historical time periods with piano, so there's a lot of research on my part that's being done, and then how I'm going to present that to the students. I think you have to be patient, and that's something that I think every teacher will tell you. When you come to work, you can't necessarily control what's going to happen that day. There's a lot of variables with students, and they're all coming from different backgrounds, and I think you have to be patient with them and take them wherever they are. And then the other thing I think you need as a teacher is the ability to forgive yourself, because we make mistakes as well, and sometimes your mistakes may affect your students or your coworkers. You have to move past that because nobody's perfect. We're listeners, and the biggest thing is we're here to facilitate. We don't control what they do. We just help them kind of discover who they are and what they want to be later on in life. And if we can do that, then I think we've done our job.
Our newcomers, these young men and women and their families, they come to this country, to Barrow County, to our schools, with gifts and talents and ambitions and dreams, and we do our best to meet those needs so that they can create the lives of their dreams, but also because we know without a shadow of a doubt that our community and our county is enriched by having them here as part of our community.
Newcomers Academy has been a great first step for most of those kids to come in, get acclimated, work with really dedicated, focused teachers, doing what we do here in Barrow County, which is meet those kids where they are and then take them forward to be the best students and have the best educational experience that they can.
When our students come in, they're very shy and very quiet. They don't want to communicate at all with you. They're very uncomfortable.
My first day in school was difficult for me. I didn't understand the English in here. I don't know what happened in this moment.
I didn't know about the culture. I needed to learn how to treat Americans and how to treat the people here.
Everything that was stable, it's just shaking. And you come to this new country and everything changed.
I think it's hard because I here without my parents. You lost your friends in your country where you was.
I miss my grandma. I love so much her, and I want to see her like one more time if I can.
Very scared, sad, depressed, not very confident in myself.
I feel so stressed, tired all the time.
That's so hard, but you have to try your best if you want to improve. That's why we are here.
As the year goes on, even weeks go on, you can tell that they are happy, they're learning social skills and able to communicate.
You see every day when they come to school the effort that they put forth to learn the new language, to learn the new expectations, to learn the new systems.
When I come into Newcomers Academy, the teacher so good, the new friends so good. It's new experiences for my heart, for myself.
It's like me, they come here for learn a new language because we want to be better person.
We are thinking about these new opportunities to get a better education, to get a better life, to get maybe a good job and start helping your family.
Some of their needs are a little more hidden. They're dealing with family separation. They're dealing with loss.
These kids really need someone behind them, and a lot of times they don't have that person or people. So I think they've done such a great job at this school, just putting themselves behind the kids 100%.
It's not just the students that really are served here, it's the whole family.
I think it's the best thing to know Newcomer Academy, to be part of Newcomer Academy.
They are not just teaching you English, they are trying to teach you how the country is, the culture.
I think the most important goal of the Newcomer Academy is to help our students feel accepted.
Giving them a space and a place where they can try and make mistakes but feel okay about it, I think is the most important thing.
Once they know that someone's behind them, they're stepping forward and doing what they need to do and showing what they can do.
It's really taking that piece of being barrel bold and doing what's best for kids. And I see that so much in our Newcomers Academy. It's a real exemplar of what we do there.
Many of them are just so hungry to learn. Not only do they want to learn English, but they also wanted to learn the history and the geography and biology and all of the other subjects that they're studying.
They are doing everything possible, and as a teacher it just feels just amazing to see I'm actually doing something and they're reciprocating the feeling.
If you feel bad, they want to help you. If you feel that you cannot, they want to help you. If you think that you cannot pass the class, they want to help you.
Newcomer is a good thing that happened in my life because this is we are the family you need to learn.
I have a lot of friends, many friends who speak different languages, who's from different countries. It's a very good experience for me.
Now I have confidence, just believe in myself. That's one of the things that always gonna just bring in my heart, and that help you to feel that you can belong here.
Newcomers Academy did a lot. Probably it made me the person that I am today.
We love the community involvement with newcomer and the involvement of the newcomers with the community. The interactions are priceless. They feel they're role models. They want to be like them.
They're like, wow, we're making a difference. We're helping them, and they want to be a part of the community. They want to be accepted. They love being here.
I feel happy because I got this chance to live in this country.
For me, it's many important.
The newcomers is like my family now, and I feeling strong with that.
Newcomer Academy is a big part of my life, and it's gonna be big part of the rest of my life too.
I love so much. This is the best thing that happened in my life.
It's amazing people, it's amazing experience, it's amazing. I love Newcomer Academy.
My name is Jaden Cooper. I'm a senior and I go to Warrenboro High School. So growing up, I was just always outside. You know, I like to do a lot of fishing. You can tell by my attire. So when I got to high school, I like to choose the classes that I like to do. So I chose agriculture to be one of my pathways. And basically, I'm getting to do exactly what I wanted to do as a kid, so it's pretty fun. So football teaches you a lot of valuable skills like communication, accountability, and basically just trusting your teammates, because in the classroom and in the workforce, you have to work with people that you don't necessarily like half the time, and you just have to deal with it, and you just have to do stuff like that to become successful. A teacher that's made an impression on me the most would have to be Miss McCall. She teaches business here, and she teaches you about credit, which is a really good thing to know in life. Obviously, I just won prom king, so I'm pretty proud of that, and I'm also proud of being an honor grad because all my hard work's paid off. I'm planning to go to Georgia Southern to play a little football and also to pursue a career in environmental engineering. Do your work on time, don't show up to class late, hang out with the right crowd, and never procrastinate.
Sims Academy is a career prep school available to all high school students in Barrow County. Daily, Sims is filled with students taking dual enrollment courses, industry-specific CTAE classes, and Sims offered high school classes like construction. Pending the student's schedule, they may spend all day at Sims or utilize the BCSS organized shuttles to or from their home schools.
Sims is also home to many of Barrow County School System's unique programs such as the Newcomer Academy, YES program, and STEP program.
Sims was the first school on the Innovation Campus before being joined by Lanier Technical College, Barrow Arts and Science Academy, and Austin Road Elementary School. It began with a mission that continues to evolve to ensure the success of BCSS students and our local community.
The YES program at Sims is a class for students with disabilities that are in their senior year of high school. The YES program is partnered with the Goodwill Northeast Georgia, Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency, and High School High Tech, with the goal of helping seniors be better prepared for the independent employment after high school.
Goodwill staff works with participants of the Youth Job Training Program to set career goals and equip students with the necessary skills to enter the workforce. YES participants can earn high school credit for job readiness training classes and paid work experience. The YES program has 3 phases. Phase 1, one transition class at Sims Academy during the fall semester of senior year. Phase 2, a paid internship in the spring of senior year if the student has proven to be motivated and reliable. Phase 3, full-time job placement after graduation.
The Student Transition Enrichment Program, also known as STEP, is a full-time year-long school-to-work transition program for students with significant cognitive disabilities who have the goal of supported employment after high school. The STEP program provides supported work experiences in a variety of community business settings, as well as within Common Ground, the cafeteria, and various CTAE classrooms. It also gives students the opportunity to practice self-determination, self-advocacy, and independent living skills. This program has an application process, and students must be accepted for the IEP team to consider this service.
Sims Academy students can build a strong foundation for their culinary careers through our dual enrollment partnership with Lanier Technical College. Highly qualified instructors from Lanier Technical College teach students in the career and technical education programs available to students through Sims Academy.
The Culinary Arts program prepares students for employment within many facets of the food service industry. Students will obtain technical skills training focusing on food preparation, sanitation, nutrition, marketing, catering, management fundamentals, and work ethics.
The Prep Cook Technical Certificate of Credit provides skills for entry into the food services preparation area as a prep cook. Topics include food services history, safety and sanitation, purchasing and food control, nutrition and menu development and design, along with the principles of cooking. Students who complete this certificate are positioned to earn several additional certificates that lead to a diploma or degree in culinary arts.
SIMS offers students a hands-on opportunity to learn construction, carpentry, and electrical fundamentals. The construction pathway consists of 4 courses, ranging from fundamentals and safety to carpentry and electrical skills. These courses are designed to help prepare students for careers in the construction industry, and many graduates find work in the construction industry after completing this pathway. The motto that students have in the class is that anything worth doing is worth doing right the first time.
Barrow County Newcomer Academy was established in 2017 with the purposes of supporting high school students as they transition to life in the United States. Since its inception, the Newcomer Academy has served speakers of many different languages from all around the world. Instructors work with students to develop their English and product support in their academic classes. Additionally, the Newcomer Academy serves to support students with many unique challenges of adapting to life in new culture surrounded by a new language.
SIMS Academy in Barrow County offers high school students a dynamic career prep experience with dual enrollment, CTAE classes, and unique courses. SIMS is a direct path to a brighter future.
My name is Eli Sauls, and I'm a senior at Winder High School. I grew up in Winder. I went to Bramlett, and then I went to Russell. In 8th grade, I got started in FFA, and I really didn't get big into it until I got into high school last year. But FFA has completely changed my life and has opened many different opportunities, and I've been able to meet people from all over the state and all over the nation. It's been a fantastic experience. My experience in FFA has shaped who I am because being treasurer of our chapter, I learned that I had to respect everyone no matter who or what they look like, who they are, and it's just taught me to be a good human, be respectful, being nice to everyone, and being able to talk to anyone that comes into the room and explain what we're about and how to get involved. My favorite memory was probably this year at National Convention. It was my first time on an airplane, and we flew to Indianapolis, Indiana to go to the National FFA Convention, and we were in the hotel right downtown, and we were roomed next to some people from Kansas, and we just stayed up all night talking to new people, making new friends, and it was just a ball. The teacher that's impacted me the most at Winder has got to be Coach Bottoms. I started playing baseball when I was a freshman here, and he, once again, just taught me lots of lessons. He taught me to be respectful, and he taught me that when you got to show up ready to work, you got to show up and be ready to do anything that's coming your way. So the achievement I'm most proud of is my proficiency. So the proficiency is basically a competition in FFA, and I started my own business last year making outdoor recreational furniture that's related to agriculture. So I started a business making Adirondack chairs, picnic tables, benches, swings, anything imaginable. I even branched out and did some trailer repairs. I built a couple chicken coops, and I'm most proud of starting my own business during high school and making some money at it. So after high school, I plan to go straight to work, and later down the road, I want to be a welder. So I'm taking classes at Lanier Tech to get my welding certificates and just really seeing where life takes me. Some advice to me as a freshman would have been just respect all of your teachers. Once you respect your teachers, they respect you back, and then you don't have any problems. You got to stay out of drama and be nice to everyone.
Hi, I'm Mary Michael Hahn, and I'm the Community Director at Bethlehem Church, and we have had the privilege of partnering with every single Barrow County school for the past 2 months, serving faculty and staff Lane's Barbecue, provided by Bethlehem Church, with also our amazing volunteers from the church. It has been such a joy to get to be in every school, to see all the faculty and staff and the joy that food can bring to people, and it's been amazing for our volunteers from Bethlehem Church to be in these schools, to see some of their kids, grandkids, family members. I love the partnership that we get to have with Barrow County Schools because every time I get to do it, I leave grateful.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Eggerstead. I am a pre-K teacher at Auburn Elementary in Barrow County. So the pre-K program in Barrow County helps to prepare students for kindergarten by getting them able to socialize with others before they get ready to learn about how to read and how to function in the school system. So after our morning meeting, we will go into center time where kids will get to choose where they want to play, like in the math center, in reading center, reading books, and in block center, building things, and in home living, where it is just like a little house, and kids will get to just interact with other students. And the teachers in the classroom are basically monitoring them and helping them through their daily lives. So Barrow County Pre-K is different from other counties because we actually do school inside of a school. We are actually able to interact with other classes, other kindergartners, and they can see how other students, older students, are going to school. And they feel important because they're actually in the same building with other students that are not their age. I think that parents should enroll their kids in the Barrow County school system for pre-K because it gives the students a sense of belonging to the school that they're going to be at. And also because we love the kids and we love to be able to interact with them and get them used to going to school. So it makes a big difference in how they are able to go on to kindergarten. If you're thinking about enrolling, visit our website today.
Hi, my name is Kayla Zong. I'm a senior at Winder Barrow High School. I've always been in band, and throughout elementary school, I've always had older friends, like maybe a grade or two, mainly because my sister's 2 years older than me. So I've always been around the older kids, whether it just be by a year or 2 years. And most of them started joining band. And I guess I could say I kind of gave in to the positive peer pressure, and they were like, try band, you might like it. I would say Miss Powell, Angela Powell, she works down in the social studies department. I think that having her my first 2 years definitely helped with kind of going straight into high school. She has made a lasting impression on me because she's taught me to always be myself, never let anybody, tell you what to do, but also learn to take a step back sometimes. Allow yourself to just relax. I did marching band for 3 years. I've done yearbook for 2. I've been in FBLA, Key Club, Student Council, SNHS, NHS. There's just different clubs around the school. So my sophomore year going into my junior year, I signed up for this, it's called HOBE. It's an organization that helps students, it's a leadership conference. They hold it during the summer for it's like a weekend. I was told that being picked for that was a huge accomplishment. After graduation, I plan on going to Georgia College to major in business administration. Some people say that you have to grow as a person, and that's great that you're learning how to be yourself and growing, but also it's okay to not change. It's okay to just realize that maybe I like who I am now, I don't want to change anything about it.
My name is Howard Holloway, and I'm a senior here at Appalachia High School. I've always grew up playing basketball, if that was either just out in the yard or I started playing organized basketball like at a younger age, probably around like 4th, 3rd grade. And then I first started playing organized football my 6th grade year, and then I kept playing it all the way to high school. But I always played football in the yard with like either my dad or my cousin, so I've always been involved in basketball and football ever since a young age. Being part of a team definitely has contributed to the academic side of this, because if you can't act right or get the grades you need to have in the classroom, you're letting your teammates, your brothers down. So that's always the main thing I focus on when I'm in the classroom, is not letting the people I play with every day and the coaches that depend on me down. So yeah, the classroom definitely plays a big part on the field and on the court. When you're playing basketball, you're playing football, a lot of things that you're not expecting to happen is going to happen. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing in the classroom. Like, there might be a question on the test I haven't seen, but I never let myself get too anxious. I just breathe and then try my best and learn and do and like put into play what I've learned in class. So a teacher, there's a couple teachers that made a lasting impression on me, but the main two, I would have to say my head basketball coach, Coach Rowland, and my quarterbacks coach, Coach Russian. Those two guys have helped me a lot into who I am today, either with that being on the field or on the court, or just in life in general. So those two for sure. An accomplishment I'm most proud of, I would have to say when I earned my first football scholarship this year around, I think it was in January. That was probably my biggest and most proud accomplishment I made. My plans after high school, I'm gonna go to school, be a student, and then I may walk on to a football team. I wanna one day become a high school coach and give back like the great coaches I've had done for me. The main school I would like to go to is the University of West Georgia, Georgia Gwinnett College, or Georgia College State University in Millersville, Georgia. So those are like the top three I would consider going to. A piece of advice I would give freshmen is don't take anything for granted and give every rep you got 100%, because you never know when your last one's gonna be, because it'll come up on you quick. That's the advice I would have to give to underclassmen.
I like playing with toys. I like my teacher. I'm over the moon for pre-K. Pre-K is out of this world.
We are so excited to welcome you to Appalachia High School. Get involved in extracurricular activities to make your high school experience more meaningful, and find the group of friends that you will keep forever. One of the graduation requirements of Barrow County is that all students complete a pathway, which consists of a series of 3 classes in the same area. Take a look at our pathways and choose one or more that will help you in your career goals and find your niche. The Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps program prepares high school cadets for responsible leadership roles while making them aware of their rights, responsibilities, and privileges as an American citizen. The JROTC department has instruction in leadership techniques, citizenship, effective communications, land navigation, marksmanship, American military history, and physical fitness. The Teaching as a Profession pathway allows students to participate in various educational-related activities and learn about the different options for educators. Level 2 and 3 students partner with elementary and middle schools for observations and hands-on experience that helps prepare for college or career options. The Audio-Video Technology and Film class at AHS teaches students how to brainstorm, write scripts, use cameras, and edit to complete a movie production from start to finish. Students create short films, podcasts, music videos, create a brand logo, learn animation, and special effects. This pathway will help prepare you for Georgia's growing entertainment industry. The healthcare pathway gives an in-depth look into the healthcare field. Careers, medicine, anatomy, and clinical skills that can save a life are covered. Students have opportunities to dissect hearts, visit a cadaver lab, and earn industry certifications. Students can choose from 2 pathways in law and public safety, forensics or corrections. Labs include handcuffing, fingerprinting, traffic and DUI stops, mock crime scenes, and mock trial. Guest speakers from many areas of law enforcement and public safety are part of the program. The sports marketing pathway introduces students to the major segments of the sports and entertainment industry and the social and economic impact the industry has on the economy. Real-world examples are used, and students look at different ways companies promote their products to attract customers to the sports and entertainment industry. The Nutrition and Food Science pathway explores personal choices for nutrition and wellness, as well as teaches basic knife and cooking skills. Classes teach how nutritional needs change throughout life and explore how food changes using scientific principles. Students complete the pathway with the option to earn a Serve Safe Food Handler certification. The engineering pathway is all about problem solving and design. Students are challenged to design, build, create, and test products relating to all fields of engineering and STEM. Students use industry software programs such as AutoCAD and Onshape to design products to be 3D printed or even laser cut. The veterinary science pathway covers the basics of animal care. Topics include diseases, parasites, feeding, shelter, grooming, animal behavior, general animal care, and veterinary procedures. Students are provided multiple opportunities to work with live animals and show skills during hands-on learning. The agricultural mechanics pathway covers the basic of key skills that are important to all industries. Topics include electrical wiring, shielded metal arc welding, gas metal arc welding, woodworking, small engines, and differential leveling. Students are provided multiple opportunities for hands-on practice and incorporate and apply multiple principles. Students can choose from 2 pathways offered in the Information Technology Career Cluster: Web and Digital Design and Programming, Games, and Apps. Web and digital design focuses on how to create and learn digital media applications using elements of text, graphics, animation, sound, video, and digital imaging for various formats using Adobe programs like Photoshop and Illustrator, as well as building websites. Programming, Games, and Apps is designed to help students strategize, design, and develop games as mobile and desktop applications. Our Spanish classes focus on communicating through reading, writing, speaking, and listening. We practice these skills as we explore the culture of various countries. We offer on-level or honors classes to complete a pathway. If Spanish isn't the language for you, see your counselor about taking another language through Georgia Virtual School. Remember, most four-year colleges do require at least 2 foreign languages. If you love band, you are in luck. From concert band to wind ensemble, we focus on transitioning from middle school to building leaders. 90% of band students also participate in the Marching Cats and attend all 10 football games. There are competitions, parades, and festivals. Come make music with us. Fun and exciting, the Appalachia Chorus is full of amazing students that love to sing and perform together. We have concerts, competitions, and perform at other events. No matter what type of music you love, we have something for everyone. Did you know Georgia is one of the top 3 movie-producing states in the country? Theater is a chance to gain employable skills while making new friends. We have opportunities for actors, singers, dancers, and technical workers. We work on playwriting, acting, theater history, set building, and more. Strengthen the right side of your brain while using art as a communicative language. Painting, drawing, and 3-dimensional work, as well as researching various artists and styles to help develop observational skills and combine ideas. You don't have to be an artist to make art. Just have a willingness to work through creative challenge. We hope you saw a pathway that inspired and interested you. Focus on your future and get involved. The Appalachia team will see you soon.
The YES program is one of 3 transition programs offered in Barrow County. The program is designed to help high school seniors enhance their preparedness for independent employment post-graduation. Partnering with Goodwill of Northeast Georgia, the Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency, and High School High Tech, the program guides students through a 3-phase training program. In the fall semester of their senior year, participants engage in a transition class at Sims Academy, earning 1 elective credit. This phase focuses on setting career goals and acquiring essential job readiness skills. Subsequently, during the spring semester, motivated and reliable students have the opportunity to embark on a paid internship, earning another elective credit. This internship serves as a practical paid work experience. The program concludes with full-time job assistance after graduation. Operating out of Sims Academy, the YES program is available to seniors from Winder Barrow High School, Appalachia High School, and the Barrow Arts and Sciences Academy. The program's overarching purpose is to help students with barriers to employment transition to the workforce after high school. The program achieves these goals with activities like tours to local manufacturing and distribution centers, on-campus training and employability skills, and paid internships with community partners. These internships provide a sheltered work experience, better preparing students for successful entry into the workforce. The YES program at Sims Academy is a transformative initiative uniquely positioned to empower high school seniors for independent employment. By seamlessly integrating classroom learning, hands-on internships, and community partnerships, the program not only equips students with essential skills, but also fosters a supportive environment that champions their journey toward a successful transition to the workforce.
The 2024 to 2025 Barrow County School System Teachers of the Year. Auburn Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Callie McNeil.
Austin Road Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Tony Neff.
Bethlehem Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Katie Ducato.
County Line Elementary School Teacher of the Year, Laura Haley.
Holsenbeck Elementary School Teacher of the
Year. Leave it here, maybe, and then be here, but I doubt it.
Leave what here?
What's that?
Leave what here?
A pen.
Oh.
Okay, we will reconvene our meeting tonight. Could I have a motion to approve the superintendent's personnel report presented by the superintendent?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? And could I get a motion to approve the standard desktop computer RFP and the Chromebook RFP?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? All right. Wasn't there one more?
Or did you include both RFPs?
I included one, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, with no further business, we will adjourn.
Oh yeah, that would be terrible.